you go. We are now live. Okay. I'm surprised Swamps wasn't first. I can't believe Parkzer was the first one in the chat.
Are you live? Are we live?
It is live, yes.
Or 4 minutes late. Unbelievable. Level of belief.
Unprofessional.
Oh no. Just unprofession. Derek doesn't even want to finish the word anymore. That's how disappointed he is. Oh,
okay. Hello. Okay, so as I was just saying with Derek, Derek has not done Q&As recently, and I have never done a Q&A for the Bazaar. I used to appear in quite a lot of content for Tempo Storm back during our esports years, but I've not done anything for the Bazaar. Shahrukh here keeps on asking me to do a Q&A or to join in on a Q&A, and I previously said no, because I would just be sitting there not knowing what to do because I don't build the Bazaar. So Shahrukh asked me to, like, for example, join in on the 1-year celebration Q&A, which was it April 2nd?
Yeah, it was pretty much all of last month, but I think it was on April 4th.
It was relatively recent, so April 2nd, or around the beginning of April. And I said no, because I would just be sitting there in utter silence. I also am like siloed off on the corporate side, so I don't actually really even work together with a lot of Tempo staff anymore. I work with Shahrukh, I work with Andre, and that's about it. But I am familiar with Derek. Derek has been around for quite a long time now, so I told Shahrukh I would do a Q&A if the conditions were, first, if it is small, so I actually get to talk and I'm not just sitting there listening to people talk about the Bazaar, and second, if I can do it together with somebody who I'm actually familiar with. And that is how now, Derek, you are here together with me. Also, where am I pointing? Am I pointing in the I'm pointing
Point right.
at where
Point right.
Where my screen is.
Okay.
I'll refresh your stream so I can see where I am in your so okay.
No, you're not putting
so
it
Derek
there.
is over here.
Yes.
Derek is here and Shahrukh is down here.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why Discord flipped my screen.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. I think it's been a few minutes, so we'll just kick it off as people roll in. Just brief introductions about the team that's here, as Adam was just going over. You know, obviously this, from the design side, you guys might have seen Derek talk a lot, Sokolov. I don't think you guys have seen him on an official stream, but let's start with Adam. Adam Parkzer is the Director of Corporate Operations at Tempo.
Hold on. I got very distracted. This is very important, Shahrukh. I need you to be an influencer right now, like a fashion influencer or a beauty influencer, and put something in front of your camera so it focuses, and then focus back on your face. Because you're extremely blurry, and I cannot unsee this.
Good.
Excellent.
Is that better?
You may now resume the Q&A.
Okay. I can't control the focus on Discord for some reason, as I can't. Actually, wait. No, I can't because I'm capturing Discord.
That's the screen. That's literally, it's Discord is your stream.
No, I know, but I mean, like, for some reason my camera doesn't let me control the zoom focus unless I force it through OBS. The camera I have doesn't let me manually do it. But
is it
anyways,
not automatic?
It keeps
That's
putting
what I mean by, like,
defaulting to
beauty
automatic
influencer.
zoom. I turn it off normally.
Oh, well, here, you can be a beauty influencer. You know what they do, right? They cover their face so it zooms in on this beautiful cap for my gallon water jug, and then when you move away, it refocuses to your face.
Here is my chapstick. There you go.
It just forces it to reset. That's what it is.
Okay, awesome. As we were starting, streamer is very delayed compared to audio. I can open my own stream and double check on that, but it should be picking up the same. That's one big jug.
One big jug. What do you mean? Do you not use a water bottle? This is my water bottle.
Mine's pretty narrow.
Looks fine to me. Okay. Yeah, if you're having issues with audio,
all
try
normal
refreshing.
Water bottles.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, so Adam is Director of Corporate Operations. He's been here from the early days. Knows all about the esports side, Tempo Storm. He's been with us through the entire transition into game development. So, Adam, do you want to say a little bit about yourself? Kind of what you do, what your main areas are?
I missed what you just said because I was busy wiping water off of my Filtrum. I'm Adam Parkzer. I've been here for quite a long time. I joined the company back in 2015. That is not a verbal typo. It is not 2025. It is 2015. I've been around since the Tempo Storm esports days. I joined originally as an editor on the website, a writer, and then I went on into like administrative work. I oversaw esports. I managed the esports teams. For a little bit, I did esports and like psychology coaching for some of our teams, general management, and then moved on to production, multimedia production, and now I'm in corporate operations. So I'm sort of siloed off into my own little bubble, and I do finance, legal, and HR administration, along with a lot of just general, if nobody else does it, then it usually just ends up with me. So I am technically, if you want to, considering that this is going to be more of a business oriented or like a, I don't want to call it a more intelligent one, but sure, let me just go ahead and insult the entire team. This is going to be a more intelligent Q&A. So let me describe it more specifically. I'm part of the parent company, AVY Entertainment. That is the company that holds the subsidiaries, AVY Games and Tempo Storm. So for example, Derek here specifically works on The Bazaar, which is the game aspect of it. And Derek is with AVY Games. I am just generally broadly overseeing AVY Entertainment at a corporate level. Wait, what was the question?
We'll just talk a little bit about what you do.
All right. So what I do is that's functionally what it is. Legal, finance, HR administration. Legal goes down to like contract related stuff, compliance. Finance is like accounting related things. So first of all, before we get started, I feel like I need to disclose this. Unfortunately, I feel like I'm disappointing people here. I do not participate in game monetization decisions. I do finance and accounting, but not related to the game. Derek did say that he is able to answer some monetization questions today, but unfortunately they will be coming from just the game perspective and not me. So I did notice that some people wanted me to talk a lot about monetization, and unfortunately I can't do that because I don't know. And then HR administration would be like the back end side of the company. So that would be the company protection aspect. There's two halves to HR. One of them is for the company side, and one of them is the people side. The people side is right here. It's Shahrukh. Shahrukh is the one who makes sure that our company is basically a nice, comfortable, pleasant place to work, while I'm the one who makes sure that the company does not get sued, make sure all of our compliance matters and labor law compliance is in order, make sure all our contracts are all set. Basically, I am the person who employees don't like, and Shahrukh is the person who the employees do like. I guess that generally covers my...
I think it's more that if you have to talk to Adam, something is wrong.
Usually, yes. It's a little more serious.
I guess so, yeah. Because most game development people, only come to me if there's a problem. And generally, they'll go to Shahrukh, and he'll help solve like basically anything at this point, because he's like been here around long enough to be able to figure things out. So if they come to me, it means that it is a problem of such monumental proportions that Shahrukh can't help. So I have to be the one to solve it. There you go. There is me.
Awesome. And then, as you guys love asking design questions, and we've always had Toby here. Toby is our lead designer, but you guys haven't had a chance to directly meet Derek. But if you're in either the playtest or in our general Discord, you have seen Sokolov there all week or on the weekends, especially during patch days. So now you get to see the face behind the person as well. So Derek, do you want to say a little bit about yourself? And I will say, Derek is probably also one of our oldest employees at this time at the company. He's been with us for quite a while and has had a huge impact in everything that you see from the design side, and probably a few other areas as well about the Bazaar.
Hi everybody, my name is Derek. I'm the design director on the Bazaar. That basically just means I lead the design team, do all the management for what the people on the team does. Also under my umbrella is usually QA. So Toby technically works for me, but when it comes to design teams, you normally want people to have agency and the ability to challenge and whatever. So more or less, when we're in a room together with the other designers and such, and then QA, everyone is sort of allowed to talk at the same level, titles notwithstanding, right? Hi, chat.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so I looked it up in the background because I was curious. Derek, can I dox your join date?
Sure.
It is November 28th, 2022. However, it was before then though, right? Because you joined as like a design consultant basically, and then you joined in full time. So Derek has indeed been around for a very long time.
Yeah, and the story with that is kind of funny because at the time I was doing full-time RV travel and with my family, so I wasn't working. And this thing came up. A friend of mine was also consulting on the Bazaar, and he and I worked together on a lot of different things. And so he wanted to bring me in as well. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, right? Like short term, check the game out, help out here and there. The Bazaar is a game I love. It is a game that has been more or less in my head and in my heart even before the Bazaar existed or that I was aware of. So from the perspective of that, when I came into the project and started working on it, I was like, this is more or less a game that I would have wanted to make to begin with. So working on it became very natural for me. It is exactly something that I've had on my mind for quite a while as a designer. And so, I believe strongly in the product. I believe the core fundamentals of the game are very, very strong, and that we could build content for it for a very long time, and it will continue to be successful.
Okay. Well, on your RV trip, was that mainly in the United States and Canada, or where was your RV adventure?
Yeah, we started in Arizona, where I lived at the time, and then we went west into California and up the coast, redwoods, etc. Then went back down the coast into San Diego and such, and then back across Arizona to Texas, and then up the middle of the U.S., Oklahoma, Tennessee, etc., until we ended up stopping in Michigan, where I started this job and where our in-laws live. So it just, all the timing just happened to work out, and we parked the RV here on a plot of land and stopped.
How many states have you been to? Have you kept track?
No, but at this point, I've been to almost every state except Alaska and Hawaii.
Okay, I think you should RV to Hawaii. You should check that Hawaii.
Can you RV to Hawaii?
You just ask, can
I
you?
really want to do it Alaska. We're planning on doing Alaska the next summer, but
Alaska is tricky because Alaska is, I think it's like 40 hours of driving through Canada to get to Alaska, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. So if you break down, this is why I also did a very long road trip, and this is why I did not go to Alaska via vehicle, is because if you break down in the middle of nowhere in Canada, who's going to save you? You're just going to be sitting there for hours.
My wife's an RV tech, so she can handle a lot of stuff.
Okay, well,
that's perfect.
I traveled alone, and I'm not an RV tech.
Actually,
so
I did not drive the truck or pull the RV. It was ours. So
excellent.
I'm the one that takes care of the kids while she does all the RV stuff. So
that sounds very
I would not have done it on my own. Like, that is not a choice I would have made.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed doing it, but yeah, that would not have been something I would have done if I was not married to my wife. So
yeah, awesome.
Did you ask, can you RV to Hawaii?
I don't know the U.S. geography that well. I know that. I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Hawaii is an island, I'm pretty sure. I'm wondering if they have bridges where you can connect through. That's what I was thinking.
Because you are Canadian, I will not make as fun of you for this question. Hawaii is a series of islands in the middle of the ocean. You can't drive there traditionally just on top of the ocean. That was the joke, is that I'm telling him to RV to a place that you cannot. With that being said, you could technically drive your RV on a freight ship, I guess, and then no, but then you wouldn't be able to stay in it though.
No, you wouldn't.
They would ship your RV there for you, but you wouldn't be able to stay in it. It's not like a ferry.
Yeah.
So I think the answer actually just is no, right?
Yes.
Yeah, normally we would park the RV somewhere. So in this case, if we were to, because that was full-time RV, we're living in it, right? Like, that was our house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If we did want to go to Hawaii, we'd probably go to like San Diego and park the RV somewhere, and then fly over. Or, is there some kind of like car ferry that goes to Hawaii? It's so far out, right? Like, but we've done that. Right? We'll park somewhere, and then we take our mobile vehicle, not the RV itself, and travel from like a home base of
Yeah.
the RV, right? And sometimes that means a boat, right? You take the car into a boat, and the boat takes you across the lake, and you're somewhere else.
Yeah, I would recommend Hawaii though. I spent 3 weeks there. It was probably one of my favorite trips. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
and plus because I like some of the old series, like Jurassic Park, the Lost series. I went to all the locations where they actually filmed it, right? And it reminds you of the exact scenes from Lost or Jurassic Park, and it's so cool to see in person. So that was awesome. But awesome, yes. That is Derek Sokolov, as most of you guys know. Someone did ask earlier if I am blind in one eye. No, I am not. It is a contact. I can see
You're
perfectly
blind
fine.
in one eye?
No, I am perfectly fine and capable of seeing through both eyes.
I didn't know you were blind. That's
no.
impressive.
Yes.
I'm blind in both eyes.
I also am pretty
So-
blind in both eyes.
What's your prescription, Adam?
Minus
I think we talked about this
6.5, but it's outdated.
So a lot of people will talk about like having bad eyes and stuff, and every time it's like I'm just laughing because I'm negative 18.5.
18?
Yeah.
How?
I don't know
Minus
prescriptions.
18.
Is
Yeah,
that
people
really,
think
really
like
bad?
5 is a lot, and it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but like compared to me.
I think like minus 8 is a lot. You're
Yeah,
minus
no,
18.
8 is considered very high.
Yeah,
How is
Sparky's
that
with
gonna
me.
be
He's
possible?
asking, what does this mean? Because we both don't.
Yeah,
I'm
so
assuming we
if I
both
take
don't
off
have
my
glasses.
I'm about 2 feet away from my iPad right now. I take off my glasses. It's just there are no faces. Like I can't even guess as to what this image is. There is something on there.
Okay, this is something that I heard that this is technically accurate. I don't know how accurate it is. So apparently, if you put your glasses like right up to the camera, and then have your camera focus, and then move your glasses away, this is what it looks like when my glasses are off.
I don't know if
Except-
my camera will do it. Mine is an iPad camera, so
Oh, you have to like manually set the focus. Though I
Okay,
can
yeah.
tell that your lenses are thick.
yeah. And this is I pay for the most expensive thinning, and it's still crazy.
Those are the chunkiest lenses I have ever
Yeah, like
seen.
you can see, I have fairly large eyes without
Yeah.
my glasses on.
Wait, what is legally blind then? Is that like getting close to it?
I think we're both legally blind, right?
No, legally blind is if you cannot be corrected to
Ah.
normal vision. So I guess you'd be very close to it if you're
Yeah, I have a hard, like, you know how they have these things now when you like do your new driver's license, you have to put your head on this thing, and they do the lights and stuff. I have to hold my glasses against my face when I do that because any movement here makes it blurry. Like it has
Yep.
to be right up. And so if I'm bending down, like it slides on my nose slightly, and I can't see anything.
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like the range of motion I have here is very narrow.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that have bad eyesight, so I always say as a joke I have 40/40 vision, which I know is probably worse. I know 20/20 is
My
perfect, but
brother has perfect vision. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I have
he
perfect
got the
vision.
eyes and I didn't.
my last test was like a year ago, but I always joke to my friends that have bad eyesight. I was like, oh dude, just get better. It's a skill issue. 40/40 vision all day. And then I go play FPS with them and I'm at the bottom, so clearly my vision isn't helping. Well, awesome. Anyways, guys, for me, my introduction's a little bit shorter. My name's Shahrukh. Most of you guys know me. I'm pretty active in Discord. Boosted stuff. I talk a lot because I like talking. So at Tempo, I work as lead of people and culture, so meaning I'm responsible for all the hiring. Generally in startups, you guys probably know if you've ever worked in any. A lot of people tend to be, doing a little bit more than just exactly what they do, as Adam mentioned earlier. I help out on HR. I'm able to do that also mostly because Adam helps me out a lot when I have questions. And along with that, helping with inventory and basically anything that pops up day to day. If there's like a task that, like no one's exactly sure who we can put it on, or something simple, or even if it's a little bit complicated in terms of doing some research, I'll probably tag in, help out there from my side where I can, and then, get it back to other people and then brainstorm. I helped out, I guess my greatest achievement was I helped out a lot on the Karnak video, which apparently everyone liked, in terms of not making anything, but coordinating that all together to get it ready in time. So, that was fun. A lot of people liked that video. And that was great. I sometimes wish you would talk less. I just started talking. Come on. And also,
Hey,
he works here.
Can we get that message pinned? I think it's a really important message for people to see.
He literally works here.
Wait. Oh, the person who said that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Leo.
More or less
That's
funny.
Leo from Q&A. Okay, I'm putting that in his next performance review for
right,
sure. But yes.
I know Leo.
Yes.
Usually, I only know people by their names, and like a personnel folder is basically my relationship with the majority of the staff. But
Yeah.
Leo has popped in and shown up once in a while, enough that I actually recognize him as a real, existing, fleshy human being.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say his real name, but if you know Leo, like the Q&A person, we have two Leos, one in VFX, one in Q&A. So this is the Q&A Leo that is the one that you've probably seen, because he's fairly active.
So I just realized that we've been live now for 20 minutes
Yes.
and have answered no questions, but I
Exactly.
also want to derail us again, though technically this is a question. A Rotten Pickle just asked, question for Parkzer, has he tried the Bazaar yet? And I think this is a good introductory question to give people context about my role in the company. The answer is no. I still have never played the Bazaar. I've worked at Tempo since 2015. This game has been under development since 2018, 2019, like its original iterations of it. I've tried to play it 3 times, and all 3 times I ran into server problems. This was back in like the early 2020s, and I just stopped trying. And then I realized this might actually be a good thing that I don't play. So this sounds like a goofy story, but there actually is some element behind it. There's like some nutrition behind this answer. I like the fact that I don't play, because to me, this project is just a bunch of numbers and a bunch of contracts, and it allows me to not get emotionally attached to it. People who created the Bazaar, and this is like their baby, for example, Andre, this is his project that he built for many, many years. You build a very deep emotional connection with this, and you react in a way that you might not otherwise react if you did not have that connection with it. So for example, if a designer made a certain, are they still called cards?
Items, yeah.
Items. If a designer makes an item and half of the player base hates that item, a designer inevitably is going to feel emotionally hurt by that, even if no matter how practical they approach it, it's still going to have some form of emotional reaction to them. I'm taking the emotional barrier to the extremist level, where I have not even played the Bazaar. One of the funny things that people like to do to me is they show me a thing and they say, is this in the Bazaar? And I have to guess yes or no. And half the time, it's not even in the Bazaar, just like from a different art thing, or it's like AI generated, and I literally don't know. And I think that degree of separation allows me to handle some of the more intense things that would pop up on either an HR or a legal perspective without being too emotionally tied to it. And it basically just lets me maintain my calm decision making without bias, I guess. So yeah, the answer is no. I still have not played the Bazaar a single time.
This is a great segue, actually, to what I remember as the first QA question that is on the list, Shahrukh, because that's about moderation. If you can look that one up.
Would you like to read the moderation-related question?
Yes, I am opening it right now.
Okay.
One sec. For some reason.
That's a good game. Is this?
I know. I just realized I think it had a no beside it before, and it changed to yes. That's why I was double checking. Yeah, that's what threw me off for a second.
It did have a no because I didn't know how to answer it.
Okay, perfect. Let me read out the question, and Derek, this one's aimed mostly towards you. When things like Prize Pass came out, it seemed like Tempo was reluctant to criticism, even if it mainly came from a place of care and love for the game. During this, people were banned left, right, and center from the Discord and Reddit for, in my opinion, talking about things not in a rude manner, mean or threatening way. Do you regret banning these people? Please could you explain your answer to, I've seen community come a long way and I'm so thankful now that we can have a big voice and impact on the game, but I definitely regard this as a dark and worryful time that we should never go back to.
That is a
Yeah,
juicy
so
question.
Yeah,
it is.
we're starting off strong right away.
So I would say that initially that I was not really involved in moderation, and I explained why in a minute. So I don't have a precise answer as to like who was banned or why, or whether it was inappropriate or not. I will say that my personal philosophy as a game designer, as someone who works in the game, who's, as Adam says, emotionally invested in it, is that I should not be involved in moderation whatsoever. And the reason is because I'm going to be biased, right? People talk about the stuff that I have made, decisions that I've made, and there's no way for me to react to that in an objective manner, right? I'm going to, especially if I'm replying to them, right? And they're replying back to me, I've fed into the discourse. And so there's no way for me to really extract myself from that and be able to objectively analyze that. Of course, if someone's spamming or posting completely inappropriate things, that's a little different. And sometimes, I will do stuff like that. But in general, I think it's just good for game designers to not be part of the moderation team in any way. Yeah. So sometimes what I will do though is steer the conversation in a different direction. Some of you may have seen this. When the chat gets a little spicy, I'll drop some leak or some review, or I will push the discussion in a different direction, just to try and maintain, a more positive environment and get us away from because people will sort of spiral and repeat themselves over and over, and it's not really productive. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, I would feel, Derek, pretty similar as well. I've never really been involved in the moderation side of it. I mean, I can see the messages that the moderators and helpers talk in, but I think in total I've probably banned like 4 people. That was actual just very, very inappropriate stuff. And outside that, the only bans I've done is like the spam bots that hop into Discord and start spamming. If I see one on the weekend, normally people are pretty good, they'll ping at moderators. If I see one of those, I'll ban it. But generally, I always say I don't want to be involved in the moderation side. Yeah, the free money bots, Pickle. You're looking at them every week.
I've definitely not banned anybody in the Bazaar Discord or anything else. I don't even know how to do it, actually.
All right. Hey, Derek, you're the admin on the Discord. Awesome. Okay. Let's go into...
If I was a fan, I would probably be slightly dissatisfied with that answer. So let me repackage that and clarify. I think the actual answer is you're asking the wrong people. I also, surprisingly, have never touched moderation. So although we'd like to give you a nice juicy answer to this, my answer just honestly is I don't know. I wasn't involved in it.
I'm sure the truth is somewhere in between. Like, some people probably deserve to be banned, some people didn't and got caught up in the wave of, because what I can imagine is, for our moderators and people who were doing that stuff, there was a wave of negativity, and if you're just involved in that wave, you might have been caught up in that, and that's unfortunate and probably shouldn't have happened. But realistically, we would have to go back and look at everybody individually to see the circumstances.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if this isn't really a juicy answer either, but I mean, you're looking back on things, there's always ways you can think of, we could have done this better or handled this situation better, right? It's like anytime you're in the future, you can always look back and see the things, like the positives, right? Or any better way to handle any situation. And maybe it's entirely possible, and I will just say it, I don't think we handled it in the best way in some cases, but we've made a lot of strides and a lot of improvements, and I feel like a lot of people are pretty happy right now, and that's our goal, right? Just keep improving, making more and more fun for you guys to actually enjoy playing the game. Awesome. And with that, we'll segue into the next question, which is for you, Derek. This was going to be the first question originally, and I didn't want to do this first because it just seems to be seems like I picked it out to be first, just because it says nice things. I would like to start off on congratulating you guys for making such a fun and unique game. I have poured dozens of your hours into the Bazaar and love every second of it. As someone who started playing during open beta, what was the original view you guys had in mind when introducing acquisition numbers on items? And this will tie in a little bit into the next question that will be bounced between Adam and Derek as well.
Yeah, so that is a feature related to cosmetics. Our cosmetics originally had numbers on them that indicated what how many of them there was essentially, and what number you got. So the first a copy of a cosmetic would have a particular number. And the reason for that was mostly that it's just cool to know that you were the first or you're the 67th person to get a particular cosmetic, and the higher numbers would tend to be less valuable and the earlier numbers would be better. We also had a desire to have a player-to-player marketplace, and the numbers would have made a difference in terms of like the value of a particular item in that marketplace. Certain numbers, especially earlier numbers, would have been more valuable, and that would have been part of the drive of player trading and such. But that feature, of course, didn't make it into the game, and we shifted to a different strategy on that end. Adam, did you have something to add?
I don't believe on
No.
that part.
No,
Yeah.
it looked like you raised your hand. So.
Oh,
No.
I think he was just doing like the hands, kind of like that.
Oh my God, Derek, are you too old for this?
Hmm?
You said, maybe I just misheard. Did you not say that it's nice to know if you were the 67th person to get a cosmetic?
Yes, I just say that.
Yeah.
Do your kids not do the 6-7 thing?
I picked that number for that reason.
Oh.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay.
Yeah. But no, Adam,
that
it-
is me
Not a
making
random
fun of
choice.
the.
But, no,
yeah,
Adam,
that
you
was
did
not
it
me
way
raising
too
my
lightly.
hand.
Like normally the 6-7's a little bit more aggressive with hand movement. You did it very
It
slowly.
can't be that
Look at that.
obvious.
I mean, from the videos I've seen, it's usually like very aggressive hand movement. You would more
Yes,
so
I
look like a
know.
Libra scale.
Some players are making fun of me for saying low key the other day. So
Oh. I mean, since I've started streaming 5 years ago because of my name, I've been called Boomer Stuff. Literally from within a week of starting streaming with this name. Yes, instead of Booster Stuff, I've been called Boomer Stuff officially. And I started streaming when I was 25 or 26. I don't think I was that old, but that's what I got called. So there's still some people that'll pop in and call me that and then leave after 5 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad you remembered Boomer Stuff. Okay, well, awesome. But with that question, it's actually a good segue into what we were going to ask next, related to the numbers. Now, Derek, I'll let you answer first, and then Adam will go to you for the same question. Was the game originally built to be an NFT game?
I will say that I don't really know, to be honest. By the time I started, there was nothing like that here. So I've never worked on anything related to NFTs.
Yep.
So this answer depends on what you define as NFT game. An NFT game, to me, what an NFT game is that you collect NFTs, you trade them, and then that's about it. One of the goofy things that I think NFTs just like, I wouldn't say implemented, but like NFTs blew up, I think, in the wrong way. NFTs can be, hold on. Let me find a good way to I didn't really think about my answer. Let me find an example. So an example for this, this is not a sponsored advertisement. I'm not a secret investor in this or whatever. Chubby Cattle. I know this because I live in Las Vegas, and Chubby Cattle has a lot of Las Vegas locations. When you bought an NFT from Chubby Cattle, it actually gave you perks. You can show your NFT at a restaurant and say, I am an NFT owner, and then you have certain benefits, such as like a free plate of Wagyu beef in like an upgrade in your Korean barbecue or Japanese barbecue or whatever, or a free cup of boba. So like it actually gets you something. All of the NFT and like NFT games that I've seen don't actually do anything. It's like you get the NFT and you own it and you trade it, but there's no practical value to it. So that is what I think of when I think of NFT games, is that you're basically just collecting these virtual things and then there's like no purpose to it. There's no practical real world application to it. And my answer to, in that definition of, was the Bazaar intended to be an NFT game? No, never. With that being said, a very long time ago, before we had an actual built-out design team. So as you just heard from Derek, he said it hasn't been in the talks ever since he was around, which is in 2022. Before 2022, we were back when NFTs were blowing up. Funny enough, people might hate me for this. I wanted there to be some sort of NFT or blockchain integration into the game in a sense that it was going to be a pioneer game to do NFTs the right way. This was inspired by the fact that I used to play Hearthstone obsessively. I've spent hundreds of dollars on Hearthstone, and I had like full decks made out of golden cards. For those who have not been around as long, I was the guy who built the data entry and like the actual front-facing portion of the meta snapshot. Obviously, our engineering team arranged like the structure of it, and then I was the one every week or every 2 weeks putting in all the data, gathering information from our experts, and actually putting together the report. So I was very involved in Hearthstone, and then that involvement just got so like, I guess it's just burnout, I guess. And I just got annoyed with Hearthstone by just playing too much Hearthstone and just like doing too much Hearthstone content. So I quit. But my account currently has literally hundreds of golden cards of like epic and legendary status, or like the tier, that just basically went to waste because it's just stuck in my account. And I thought it would be nice if I could then just sell that without being in violation of Blizzard terms of service. I thought that the NFTs could be implemented in a way where you can actually do that in compliance with terms of service and actually sell those cards. So for example, if I quit, what's a card that just comes to, hold on, my blue light filter just randomly came on. Let me turn that back off. So like, for example, I have a golden legendary Lord Jaraxxus. And the fact that I'm giving this as my example probably dates me to how long ago I played Hearthstone. But I have this legendary golden Jaraxxus card and I don't play it anymore. And I want to give it to somebody else and just get money from it. And if I was to get that golden Jaraxxus card as an NFT, take it out of the game, sell it to somebody else, and then they can use it, the secondary market there basically just makes players happier. It feels like they're not wasting money into a thing where they can lose the license to play or use that content from Blizzard's servers. Hopefully that was like a good enough example.
Yeah.
So the idea behind this is that I wanted players to have more agency over their in-game items and treat it like actual real property rather than just a bunch of pixels that are basically in the game, and you have a license to access the pixels, but otherwise there's no functional use behind them. Ultimately, none of that happened. That was a very long backstory for this, but there was a point at which implementing NFTs the right way into a video game was a possibility, I guess. None of it happened. Yeah. So no. Long story short, there's like unique cosmetics, and there's like number tagged cosmetics that potentially could have been traded, but ultimately no, that did not happen.
But yeah, just
when you introduce any system like this, whether it's just in-game player trading or the blockchain version, it always adds layers of complexity and legal and technical needs. And so trading it in whatever form it takes is always a pretty big bag of stuff to do. And it then the player accounts also becomes like a lot more valuable in the real world, and it leads to hacking and scams and other things like that as well that you got to deal with. One game that I used to work on had this, and they gave away some freebie at some convention, and that led to millions of accounts being created just to get a copy of this thing, and they did not anticipate that, and that broke a bunch of stuff.
Yep. Andy also in chat is saying 99% of NFT games aren't even games. It's just weird mechanisms where people just try and make money while not playing the game. So I guess that basically, yes.
It changes things.
My long-term, my vision, long-term vision is to, like, the technology is there. It's just that it's not being used in a optimal way, but it just didn't work out. Also, like I haven't kept up with blockchain and crypto for a really long time, but apparently there's like fees to transfer as well. And apparently the amount of money that you need to pay in just like transaction fees just to sell something also was like exorbitantly high. So yeah, there were a lot of issues with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there was a dream, at least in my head, but no, the game itself did not actually have any of that or
Yeah.
implement it or whatever.
I just wanted to clarify that. I know this came up multiple times when the Bazaar first came out, and Raynat spoke on it too a few times throughout Discord. Yeah, the Bazaar, there might have been a lot of ideas before the game was officially made, but I think from inception to the production of the Bazaar, as engineering production actually started making the Bazaar, it was not made to be an NFT game or any of like those cash grab activities or anything like that. But yeah, Derek, someone was asking you, what's a green card behind you? That is Cactur? Was that right?
Yep, that's what I just showed.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome.
That's from Final Fantasy 14, the MTG one, right?
Yeah, I just took the image and blew it up and printed it big.
Oh, you made it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
I
this is
remember
not
when
some
that came
official.
out.
I printed this.
That's
I remember
awesome.
when that came out, and I don't play MTG, but I played some Final Fantasy 14, and apparently the demand for this was just like astronomically high. And once in a while, the card packs just would appear in Amazon as for sale, and oh, you have one. So I one day I saw that they were back in stock, and I'm like, huh, these have been sold out everywhere forever. It would be cool if I guess I just bought it, and I just clicked on the one click to buy, and it went through. So in this market where people were paying like $400 for a pack, I got it at normal retail price for like 80 some dollars. I don't play MTG, so I just gave it to a friend. But I remember when that happened. What race do I play in Final Fantasy 14? I play Red Mage. I started as Black Mage, and then I realized that I hate standing there and
Is
casting
Red
a
Mage
candle.
a race?
Sorry, one more time?
The question was race, not class, right?
Oh, what race? I play Cat Girl. I don't remember what the Cat Girl race is officially called, but
Of course,
I play the
Parkzer
Cat
plays the
Girl
Cat
race.
Girl. Of
I've never
course.
played 14. I did play 11 or whatever the other online one was.
Yeah, I like MMORPGs, which is why I play 14. A long time ago when I was a kid, I used to always create my character to be as close to me as possible. So it's like I am in the game, and then I realized that is pointless because if I'm spending hundreds of hours looking at this character, I might as well make it an attractive character that I like looking at. And I already see myself in the mirror enough, so I started making attractive female characters instead, which is the origin story behind why I picked those races. Oh, Mikote. That is correct. Yep. Miko Red Mage.
But yeah, I've been associated with Cactor online for probably 20 years now.
I was gonna say, everywhere
Feel
Derek I've
free to
seen your
go
picture,
search
it's always that
Sokolov
image.
and look for that profile picture, and it's probably me. Like I have a live journal somewhere, probably. You can probably still find posts there, and they'll have that profile picture. I don't know what I posted on there, so hopefully it isn't something bad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So just as a reminder, if anyone has some unique questions that the team finds interesting, you will most likely win a skin of your choice. It could be a skin from a seasonal reward. It could be a skin that you've seen that isn't officially out yet. So ask some nice questions or even a follow-up question. You could ask.
Can I also win?
Sure. Yes, you can win.
But you don't have
Nice.
You don't you don't own the game even. Did you buy it on Steam?
No, I redeemed a free code.
Wow. Some people. I bought the
I
bought the tier 3 founder pack, even though I work here, which I didn't need to.
You know that big spreadsheet called like developer or whatever? Like development keys that are like
Yes.
reserved. One of those is me.
Well, no, we had
No.
we had all those keys, but I remember when we were coming out, it was very last minute when we were at the it was like the game show awards, Eric. I don't remember the name. Right when we were going live to sell beta access. So we needed to test like very shortly right before we went live, and we need to make sure the payment system, everything worked. So I remember I just went in and I just used my own credit card just to make sure it worked, and it did. But that was fun.
Why didn't you just ask for the company card?
That would have been an extra step. This
Yeah, we had very limited time at that point. I'll be honest. It was very, very limited. Okay. Well,
Ron
segue
Pickle was
into
asking if it was the OTK Expo.
yeah, it was OTK Expo, yes. OTK Games Expo, yes. Um, I think our original plans got pushed up almost like a week or 2 weeks in advance from when we were launching it. It was a good opportunity, but yeah, our testing had a little bit less time than we were hoping for. But luckily, we managed to nail it, and the team did a great job on that. So, on that note, Derek, one question for you. What are some difficulties/challenges associated with porting Bazaar to mobile? I'm really looking forward to the release, but would be interested to hear about any technical or business constraints, as I'm sure it's not a simple process to adapt the game for mobile devices.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of challenges.
Yeah.
They tend to fall into like 3 different categories, right? One is technical, which tends to involve just does it run on phones? The game has a lot of heavy visuals and a lot of high fidelity assets. And so optimizing those and shrinking those and reducing the load on the devices is an important part of it. Right now, it runs very hot on a lot of mobile devices, and we're working on the optimizations required so that it runs properly on mobile devices from that perspective. There are other technical challenges, but that's one of the biggest ones. In terms of like monetization, there's also that aspect. Games on mobile are usually expected to be free, whereas we're a paid game on Steam, so that's a little bit different. So there's some things to deal with there. And then there's also the playability side of it, where the game is currently designed for PC, where you have a big screen and a mouse, but converting that into a much smaller form factor where you can still read the cards and understand what's happening on the screen can be a bit of a challenge. And we're working on all of that. It is technically playable on phones. We're testing it actively on it and making improvements as we go. So
yeah,
it is coming.
Yeah,
and it's going well, and yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know a lot of people ask about it. I think Andre shared a picture once about like the game on his
I
mobile.
Would play it a lot more, if I had it on my mobile devices too. Like I just can't be at my computer a lot. I know some people do play it like via Steam Link or on the Steam Deck and stuff, and it works decently well there. But obviously, native support is much better.
Sure. Can we have an exclusive preview? Do you have the game on your phone?
I don't have the game on my phone.
Is this legal to show what it looks like?
We have shown it before.
We've shared pictures. I think it's fine.
On our last Steam announcement, we've shown pictures. But Derek, do you have it downloaded on your phone?
I don't have a device that has it here. Right.
Oh, okay. I don't have it on my personal phone right now.
Sure. Can you be the one to share it so that
to this screen?
Huh?
I don't have it downloaded on my phone that's charged right now.
Oh, I was gonna say, can you share it so that if we weren't supposed to share it, then at least you're the one getting in trouble and not me?
If I get in trouble, they would report me to you.
When are we doing the next Q&A? We can set it up for that.
Yeah, I think we could.
We have it
I just don't have it downloaded on my personal mobile, but I do have test devices, but they are currently dead. Because normally for the Q&As recently, I've been busy, so I haven't been joining them when we've been doing the mobile. But yeah, for everyone else, just to be aware, we've been working on mobile for quite a bit. It's no secret, it does work on mobile, but mobile is a different market a little bit than what Steam is used to. On mobile, people's tolerance for games when they first try it out is a lot lower, based on stats you can read online. Who knows how accurate they are, but in general, if you download a mobile game, you don't like it, you move on. So you have to make sure when you do your mobile launch, it goes well, right? You have to make sure that there's no some hiccups, the phone heating up, draining your battery. There's so much more that goes into it than just launching it right away and seeing what happens, right? Because I think redemption on mobile, it's a lot harder than it would be on a PC game. But that's what I think.
Enzo here asked an interesting question about character design and Pygmalion in particular. So I'll just handle that right now.
Oh, okay. Enzo gets a special skin.
Yeah. So what Enzo's asking here is that he observed that initially Pygmalion at launch was considered more of a late game character, and in recent patches and as content evolved, he's become a little bit more well-rounded. Though I think if you look at the win rate data, he's still mostly a late game character. And he was wondering, was there a desire for him to be a late game character, and how does that come about? I would say that in general, a philosophy does not tend towards thinking about it that way. in terms of the item designs and the content design, we try and think of it as what are the items that make sense for this hero's class and demeanor and personality, and then build the mechanics that make sense for those items. And whatever emerges out of that is what the character becomes. So in Pig's case, a large part of his thing is about scaling, is about building value, is about health. So all those things tend to become stronger as the gameplay goes on. And so he has a lot of economy items that are generally going to be weaker at the beginning because you're investing in them for a payoff later. So it is an emergent property as opposed to a design property in that case.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Also, I know who Enzo is because I believe I hopped into. This was like a few months ago, but I remember I hopped into. Normally, when I'm ending work, I'll hop into like the public Discord, and whoever's sharing their screen, I look at what builds or what they're working with. Remember, I met Enzo there, and he was really excited. I remember Derek. I came and asked. He was like, "This guy's really excited. Really wants to join the playtest." So I'm pretty sure that is the same Enzo that's in our playtest.
Yes,
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who it is. But no, Enzo, great question. Awesome. Now let's get into a little bit of a different question here. Now, Adam, this question is aimed a little bit more at you, as it goes more into the history of the business. Now, as obviously most people are aware, Tempo Storm was an esports company in the past. Right, we had a lot of success with that. I actually have some of the trophies that we found in the LA storage room.
Arguable, but okay.
Okay, I mean, I don't know how much success we had. I have some of the trophies, and I saw some of the big checks that we won. But the question is, what surprised you the most about entering game development? Would you prefer working on game development, or do you miss esports?
Okay, so first of all, with the, I don't want this to be an insult to people who me saying it's questionable that we had success in esports. Technically, ranking and placement wise, as you said, yes, it was incredibly successful actually. I believe the ones that you're referring to right now are from our PUBG team.
Yes.
Because I know that you went to our storage unit to help clean stuff up. And I remember that the storage unit had PUBG stuff in it. Our PUBG team in North America was amazing. They got first place in like quite literally everything in the United States or in North America. They obviously got raffle stomped in Asia, but that was expected. In North America, they got first place in like everything. And they won so much prize money and got so many trophies and were so decorated. The company still lost $300,000 running that team because esports is so unprofitable. They won everything. Keep in mind that it's the players who get the money and not the company. So all those like the vanity checks that you have, Tempo gets like a slice of it. It's like 10 to 20%, and then all the money goes to the players. The company is running a team house. We have to pay salaries. So from a financial sense, it was not successful. From an actual placement sense, it was successful. Now, with that being said, I don't want this to sound like I am just deflecting blame. There is a better way to run the teams. If we had given our players proper press training, if we had better salespeople to field sponsorships and deals, if we had monetized the game, not the game, PTSD from monetization of the Bazaar. If we had monetized the team better, that would have worked out. But in the state that the team was back then, we literally lost unbelievable, I am drowning in a swimming pool of money that is not there, amounts of money. So when I answer it's questionable or arguable that it was successful, I'm speaking strictly from an accounting sense, because I'm the one looking at the numbers in the bank account. And it's like, wow, congratulations, we got first place again. Let me continue looking at the bank balance going down instead of up. So esports was very much not profitable. What was the second part of the question? That wasn't even the question.
It was
me getting
close enough, but you're getting there. It asks about what surprised you most about entering game development, and if you would prefer. Now, obviously, you spoke a lot about esports, so that's your experience there. But would you prefer working on game development, obviously from the business side of handling esports and game development, or do you miss esports? Would you rather go back to that time?
I went through a sinusoidal phase of this. Originally, I enjoyed esports. Is obviously why I started working with Tempo Storm during the esports years. Then it there was a phase where I was like, that was a great experience. I'm glad I got to do it, but never again. And then now I'm sort of in a phase of like, I mean, we could. So it's no longer the never again phase. The reason I like esports more than game development, first, is that I am not qualified for game development, so it's not like I'm making a game anyway. So it's difficult. It's like comparing potatoes and oranges, or whatever the phrase is, potatoes and apples. It's
Is it not apples and oranges?
I'm not actually, huh?
It's apples and oranges, I think.
Apples and cabbages. So it's a bit of like comparing apples and cabbages, where it's like I'm not even making the game anyway. So it's like, am I really in game development? I don't think so. But esports is just chaos. It's just like game development, at least for right now, things are like fairly structured, and the company is like impressively professional. It's being handled in like a nice, smooth way where people sort of just do their role. Everyone has the thing that they need to do. Things get made, and things just like aren't on fire. Esports was just, we are permanently in a volcano. It's like just like everything is like permanently on fire. And I actually sort of, looking back, I think I liked that stimulation of just like constantly needing to like chase things down and fix things. So if Andre wanted to create another esports division under Tempo and like revive Tempo Storm, I wouldn't be upset. I'd actually probably find that stimulation interesting. And I think the context behind that was that before joining Tempo, I used to work in law enforcement. And basically my standard was, as long as somebody is not dead, it's fine. Stress level 0. So I think like that's why I sort of miss the esports aspect now, is because it's just like just chaos. It's just like everything is going wrong at the same time, and it's quite satisfying being able to just control it and fix everything. While on the other hand, game development, I mean, you all are like doing things like smoothly, and like obviously everything is not perfect, but compared to esports, things are like organized and getting done, and there's like a structure, and like people are doing their jobs. So wait, what was the question?
No, you pretty much answered it. that pretty much describes it. But I think a lot of things that you're saying is like, it's almost like, you know, like adrenaline junkies that are looking for that rush. It's like esports gave you that rush. It's not the most fun, consistent work that you'd want to do forever, but like it was still fun and enjoyable, and you wouldn't put it away. Like,
what I'm getting here is that the team needs to produce more chaos for
Yes. Yes.
I technically, pursuant to my fiduciary duty under the investor rights agreement, I am obligated to say, no, do not do that. But secretly, yes.
Okay. I think Muffin might have had a good question there. I am just going to leave my
There's quite a few things coming up
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
But before we ask that, Derek, I just want to ask you one, and then we'll pick a few from the chat to answer. And you're welcome to pick the ones that you like, or I can pick a few for you. There's one here I wanted to ask you. And this says, I think it's easy to take for granted how well the game scales in power from day 1 to 10. What tools do you use to identify good scaling thresholds for health pool, weapon damage, burn and poison, etc. in the early days of the Bazaar?
Yeah, so when it comes to this sort of thing, when you're designing games, you just gotta pick a number. You know, at that stage, at the early stage, none of the numbers matter, in the sense that until you pick some numbers, whether the numbers are 10, 20, 1, 5, it's all meaningless. You have to start somewhere. And so there's different philosophies here. Some people prefer to start with very small numbers, the smallest numbers possible. Other prefers to start higher so that there's more granularity in where you can place the numbers. But realistically, you just don't agonize it too much, because you can change it, right? You can multiply everything by 10, you can multiply everything by 5, you can divide everything by 10. Just pick something and then playtest. So the philosophy is you just try it until you figure out what works.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Now, Derek, do you have the chat open?
Obviously, I
go
do
ahead.
a lot of math, do a lot of modeling. Now that, especially now that we have the base set of numbers. So, for example, if I'm making a new item and I need to figure out what the numbers are supposed to be, I have existing precedent. I know that, for example, burn should scale this way, heal should scale this way. But with this particular item, because it has, cooldown reduction or self-charge or whatever, it can do something slightly different. And so the context of the items does matter. But once you have a baseline, everything is just plus or minus, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's awesome. Now, Derek, right before you answer, I'll let you pick one or two questions. Do you have the chat open currently?
I do.
Okay, awesome. I'll let you pick one or two that you like, and just write down their username. We'll get them some unique skin as well. As always, any questions that stand out and anyone from the team finds interesting, we'll let you pick a unique skin. It could be, seasonal one, something you can't get anymore, or anything like that. But before that,
it was a while ago. But Dilly asked, what unique perspective do you think you bring as a game designer? And I thought that would be interesting to answer.
Okay, we'll get into that. I just want to answer one quick one that someone just asked as a first-time person in the chat. As niche as it is, has there been any consideration to add controller support like Slay the Spire has? I'm not sure how far along we are on it. We have looked into it. We are exploring it. But at the moment, I would say, no promises of if it's going to happen or not. But it is something that we started having an exploration in. And from my understanding, I don't believe it's like a massive amount of work. But, it's always the amount of resources you have available versus what you can get done, right? There's lots of more quality of life features. I'm sure Derek is aware that he would love to get into the game for all of you guys. We always have limits of what can we actually get in and what would be the most impactful, and in terms of like where to put the resources. That's always where the conversation comes down to, right? We're not a team of 200, 300 people, or a team like Hearthstone where we have billions of dollars to keep supporting us. So yeah, we do have some limitations there of what we can get in. But yeah, there's lots more stuff that we are working on. So hopefully controller support is one of those things that is a little bit of the easier lift, and hopefully we can get that in for people. And Derek, take it away with your question that you picked.
Yeah, so my experience is in a lot of content creation. I've worked on a number of similar products in the sense of like the strategy games, releasing lots of content. I'd say I'm fairly detail oriented and very organized. And so my role as design director involves managing all of the new seasons, when are things coming out, and part of that has to coordinate with both art, design, and engineering and such. If a new item has a particular feature that it needs that is not currently, because it's not currently supported, I need to plan ahead so that engineering has time to implement that and we can test it, etc. And so I also am very much data oriented. I started very early on in my career. I was in the early social game space, when Facebook, Farmville, and all that was going on. And so the marriage of big data and game design was just beginning. Historically, game designers tend to be very vibe based. We use phrase like find the fun, because there's no objective way to measure what's fun. But with the advent of social games, big data provided a way to analyze games and to think about games in terms of like a user funnel. If people are leaving during the tutorial, if people are leaving, at various parts of the game, now you can figure out, okay, what is actually happening here that is causing players to leave. So one example that I like to use is there was a game where the player started in the middle of a field, and the goal was to get them to climb a tree and go into the treehouse. And so, what you find in those situations is that players will behave differently, and you need to figure out how to get them to do the thing you want, because otherwise, players are not playing your game correctly or incorrectly. They're just playing the game. In this case, you can try various things. You can use arrows, you can use whatever, but something that's in world is often very nice. In this case, the solution of it being have a squirrel that is spawned in front of the player when they first start the game, and the squirrel runs up the tree. And so the player naturally will think, oh, there's something in the tree that the squirrel is going after. Let me chase after the squirrel. And so there's different techniques you can use. But when you're looking at this stuff, it often comes down to figuring out what kind of audience you have and I feel like I'm meandering to a completely different version of this answer now, but yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Derek, who was that question from?
Dilly?
How do I spell their name? Oh, Dilly G? 10?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I just want to write down their name so I can try to track them down
Yeah.
later.
Oh, actually, I remember what my original point was. So data. And so for me, I became a designer that really wanted to use data to inform design decisions in a way that historically designers didn't want to do. For a while, like my dream position was actually like not a game designer, but like a liaison between analytics and design. Because what I found is that analytics people tend to be very focused on business metrics, things like LTV and ARPU, which is lifetime value and average revenue per user. They're looking at retention numbers and such. Whereas designers want to know like which item is being used in the early game. When players are playing X character, how are they behaving, or they want like heat maps and stuff. And so the analytics tend to focus on stuff that designers didn't care about, and then designers tend to care about the analytics typically didn't measure. So having somebody bridge the two gaps in order to leverage the data that exists but wasn't normally surfaced for designers was something I really wanted to do. And I basically do that now on my own, essentially. And there's a lot more tools these days to analyze data, but like back then it was like at one company I actually had 2 PCs simultaneously running huge queries on replicated databases, because when I was running these queries, it would lock the entire database because I'm basically analyzing millions of rows of data constantly. So they had to duplicate the databases, give me additional PCs, because all these things would just be locked while I was running those analysis for the games.
Okay, awesome. That's a pretty solid answer there. I know we have a few more coming in from chat, but Derek, more than welcome to pick another one that you like. But before we get to that one, there's a question I had for you, Adam.
I have great news.
Yes.
I have accrued 240 poops in your chat.
Oh, yes, I forgot that's still there. To be fair, I turned off all there was a lot more cringy stuff in there. I turned them all off. I turned off all the subs, sounds, everything. Before I do any of the Q&As, I always turn everything off. There is some weird stuff.
One day I will acquire 2 million poops and make you do a cosplay stream.
I've done one once before. I think there's a... By the way, Parkzer, if you subscribe, you may get the... I think I have an emoji of it. It's someone cropped into an emoji.
Of the cosplay?
When I did actually do a cosplay. This was like 4 years ago, by the way. I think Sin is the only one that has it. I don't know if you get it by duration or just by subbing. It wasn't Jewels. It wasn't Bazaar themed. It was from a very different game. No, I think it was like from... as cringy as it is, someone asked me to play this, and it actually had a pretty good story. I think it was called Doki Doki Literature Club. And there was a character in there that's...
cringy.
Yeah, but someone asked me to cosplay one of the characters there, and I put a goal for like $1,000 or $2,000, and then it got hit. And then I was like, fine. So I bought a wig and did it for a little bit. So, you know, it was just all for fun. Doki Doki Literature Club is amazing. To be fair, it has such a cult following. I don't think you can even call it cult following because a lot of people genuinely like the game. I haven't played a game like that before, but I found it pretty enjoyable. So yeah, I did a cosplay of that. But
I heard the game is great.
Yeah, there you go.
Like a psychological horror game.
Yes, Leo just posted. That's the, I think, graphic. Because I deleted all the VODs and all the clips that exist of it. But that's the...
Why would you delete the thing? Why would you delete the clips?
Trust me, I don't think you understand how... I mean, I have them. They're just not public anymore, but they were cringe.
No,
cringe.
do not embrace like this, right? Like, what you want to do is destroy the part of you that cringes. Do not destroy the cringe itself.
Oh, no. Like, I would not want anyone that knows I work here to see those. That's what I mean. Like, some of them were pretty much more questionable. Sorry?
Can you re-upload that VOD to your YouTube channel so everyone can watch it?
You know what? Maybe we'll do that.
Watch party. Into an official Tempo Games watch party.
Exactly. Maybe we'll do that. Okay, awesome. Now, Adam, question for you, and then Derek will jump right back to you as well. Now,
okay.
Adam, from the business side, was there any major risks for Tempo moving from esports to game development? I know this is a little bit of a broad question, but think of it like, as a business side. Like, was it a difficult change for the company to address or get to?
Wait, the business what? Business risk?
Yes, we're talking more about risk here.
We de-risked by going from esports to game development, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I thought that's what your answer was going to be.
Decreasing the risk. Esports was extraordinarily high risk. Game development is I feel like in some ways we executed on game development in a very high risk manner, but in terms of what it is supposed to be or what it should have been, we de-risked by going to game development. Someone actually asked us earlier in chat as well, like a variant of this question is, so yes, doing any kind of business pivot is going to be, I don't know about risk, but it's going to entail some action that is not necessarily always pleasant. So obviously, when we stopped doing esports, we either terminated or laid off or sold off teams and managers for teams that we no longer were supporting in esports. So in that sense, I guess it was unfortunate that we had to end our relationship with a lot of people on the business side, but the business prospect or like the long-term prospect of game development is far more stable and steady than anything that we could have possibly even hoped for in esports. So I would say that it was the exact opposite, is that we did not actually take on more risk. We removed risk. If I really want to answer that question in like the most literal way possible and like really find like what is more risky, I guess now things are more structured. So if you implement more hierarchy and more structure, so to be clear, just to clarify, the company right now is still very flat hierarchy. We don't really have like a director report, a manager is under a director, and then a lead is under a manager, and then a senior is under. So we don't really have that kind of structure. We're fairly flat anyway. But if you start implementing proper company procedures and policies and all that, there's sort of an expectation of that continuing, I guess. So in esports, everything was just chaos, and people just expected chaos. So if things went wrong, it was not as risky because it was sort of the norm. And then our contracts for esports also provided a lot more flexibility. But now we have real employees, we have real staff members. These are people who are not children anymore. These are not people fresh out of high school who just graduated and now they're playing video games for a living. These are actual real lives that we are supporting, literally, such as Derek, who is married with children. So we need to establish that kind of stability to not only incentivize people to work at Tempo Games, but also to not ruin people's lives. So that part is a bit riskier because it's more of a commitment, and we can't sort of just back out and sell off teams like we used to in esports. So the literal, like the non-politician answer that I can give you directly to your question is that it's just the company has to support more stability, so we cannot make as many mistakes and we can't change our mind as much because it'll affect more people negatively. Was that even what was the question?
No, you pretty much answered the question.
Okay.
I was just having fun with Derek because someone asked, "Are we getting a patch today?" So I was just like, "At Derek, patch when." But yeah, in general,
There's a patch today?
No, if anyone's aware, we never patch on a Friday. I think at work.
Oh, I didn't know we were patching today.
No, we're
Oh,
not.
nice.
Okay.
We are not.
Shahrukh,
Yes,
you-
let's
could you
not say
explain
that
what
because
the
trust me,
new-
it's gonna get clipped and it's gonna turn into a whole thing in Discord.
Can you let us know what is coming out today new on today's new patch?
yeah.
On,
You know what?
Friday, May 1st?
Exactly. The best person we have is Derek, who made the patch.
No, Shahrukh, please talk into the microphone. I'm pointing the microphone at you.
Oh yes, new hero release. Let's go, as someone speculated in the
What's
chat.
the name of the new hero?
Griselda. It's a female. That's her name, Griselda.
Griselda.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know where else to take this from.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't actually play the games. I don't.
But no, just in general, we never patch on Fridays. Our patch cadence has been the same for a very long time. It is always the first Wednesday of the month. I know a lot of people are asking this time because I believe it's like almost 5 weeks since the last patch, just because of how the dates lined up. But yeah, the patch upcoming is obviously going to be on the Wednesday, May 6th, right? That
Yeah,
we've kept that
calendars
cadence.
are a thing, right? Like the way that the planet spins around
Yeah.
and goes around, like it's not evenly divided. It's not intelligently designed. It's just like it so happens to be 365.24 something, right? Who decided that just to mess with all of us?
You're bad
So
with names, Booster. That name is something. Is Griselda a bad name? I don't know if there's some lore behind it. That's the first name that came to my mind. But let's let's move on from there. Derek, did you have
yes,
another question
there's
from
a
chat?
number of questions in the chat related to hero design and mechanics. Someone asked about Karnok, someone asked about Stel. It's
Yeah.
basically the same question, right?
Someone did
So
ask you
just put all-
earlier that I saw. They did mention if Karnok's rage mechanic was almost
Yeah.
essentially like a recycled version of Jules, which I don't believe it was, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too.
Yeah, so I'll just answer this generically. Like basically the question is again, how do we decide on a hero and its mechanics, right? And how do we go about that process? So basically we design the heroes with the mechanic in mind. We think about the hero in terms of their class and their occupation and their personality. And at the same time, we're trying to figure out what the mechanic, if there is one, that's sort of unique to them or their particular spin on something. So when, Dooley, he was have this core. With Stel, it's flying because she has these flying machines. And usually at the point of hero concepts, we just have a general idea, right? Like Stel has these vehicles. She does a lot of flying stuff. And so that's about it. We don't necessarily go into details of exactly how it works at that point, because at that moment, we're really looking at the general shape of the hero, what their item kit will generally look like. And the specifics of exactly how it works, we tend to figure out a little bit later. It sort of depends, though. When it came to Karnok, we had a much better idea of what the mechanic would be. And in that case, it's also directly tied to his story. And with the next hero that we're currently working on, we have a really good idea of exactly how that mechanic's going to work. And it, again, ties directly into their occupation, what their role in the world of the Bazaar actually is.
Okay, awesome. Is there a specific person that asked that question? I know you said it was like a few questions and repetitive. Is there a specific person you want to allocate that question to and give them a skin?
The first
Hey, we should
person
give a
was
skin
Max
to
Cabbage, I think, that I saw.
the chatter Sin X Leo.
He has all the skins already.
Yeah, let's pick
you-
Max Cabbage.
Max Cabbage?
Yes.
Okay. Max Cabbage, you're still here. Send me a
Not
whisper.
Max Apple, but Max Cabbage.
Max Cabbage, yes. Yes, please send me a whisper on Twitch. I will answer right after the Q&A, and we'll chat on Discord, and then we'll discuss which skin that you would really like.
Oh, yes. And someone asked, I guess, about Joy. I didn't see that question. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Joy was the original mechanic for Jules. After extensive play testing, though, we decided it was just not fun and interesting, and it was, and we couldn't find a way to make it work. So we pivoted to something else, and that happens in game design. You do something, you iterate, you test it, and if it doesn't work, sometimes you throw it out and start over.
Yeah, no, I do recall. Yeah, I remember someone asked me once that before as well. One of my friends that I play games with, obviously they know where I work, and they asked me the same questions, like, "Oh, like, did you guys just try to turn Jules into Karnok because that mechanic didn't work?" And I always obviously I can't say much. I was like, my opinion always personally was just like, I don't think it was recycled. Obviously, speaking to you, Derek, as well.
I guess
yeah.
I don't understand. How do you turn Jules into a future hero? Maybe I'm misunderstanding.
No, just the mechanic of Joy specifically. Sorry. Like, I had quite a few people ask me. They thought Joy got turned into Rage. I was like, they feel like very significantly different mechanics on their own. Yeah, I was like, I don't think they overlap. They're pretty different on their own.
So people might not be aware, right? Like in chat and here, like Joy originally was an alternate win condition for Jules, where instead of it being just regular shield, it was a form of shield that if your shield exceeded your max health, you automatically won. There was a different version of it where you put it on the opponent and if it exceeded their max health, you won. It was basically a way to try to
A win
give
condition.
an output to food. It's like, what does food do? And because she is a chef or cook, a lot of her kit was food. It's like, what output can we give to food? And so that was the original reason of why Joy existed. But mechanically, for players who are familiar with the game, you can see how accruing shield that exceeds your max health is not something that happens rarely in the game. You can pretty much do that most of the time, and it becomes very difficult to balance. And then if it also worked like shield, now you have two mechanics that are very similar. One of them wins you the game, one of them doesn't. And then visually, you're putting a shield on top of a second shield. And if you have shield and joy, what happens? So there was a whole lot of these problems that arose as a result of trying to make that thing work.
Yeah, awesome. And Sin or Leo just mentioned, he said, yeah, essentially 1 HP Jules wins after first activation XT. Yeah, so we do a lot of testing before something comes out. On paper it looks great. In application it starts to work great, and then we realize, hey, this isn't the most fun thing to play, right? So sometimes, there's some great ideas or that seem great, but some ideas do get scrapped. I guess that's all part of the design process, right? Trial and error. What works, what doesn't work, what people find fun, right? It's always going to be that same repetition and iteration of trying to make something better and more fun, right? Okay, awesome. Now, Adam, a question for you. Now, I would say do the highlights when I'm asking you this question of what you like the most. So, what did you enjoy about esports more than a game development company, and vice versa? And I would say let's focus on a little bit of the highs, the best parts. What was your favorite part about esports versus game development, and favorite game development part versus esports? I know you've talked about quite a bit of this already, but if you had to pick one for each.
My first response is going to be, I feel like I sort of already answered this, but that 5-year period of my life felt like 20 years. So it's hard to, I liked that it was just action. It was just nonstop action, something going on all the time. But for game development, it doesn't seem like there's constantly something crazy happening. I guess if I'm actually, okay, here, I just realized this is probably the actual difference between the two. Things do go wrong in game development, and there are problems that we have to address. But the types of problems that we encounter at Tempo Games, as opposed to Tempo Storm, Tempo Games problems are actual normal adult problems. It's just I don't know, coworker interaction problems, or you probably know this better than I do. But it's just problems that arise in the company today are actual adult company problems.
Yeah, my PC
problems. Huh?
Some people have problems with their machines and stuff.
Okay, yeah, tech problems.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is such a good. I just had a flashback. Okay, so today it's just things like, hey, I'm having troubles with our VPN to get our static IP, and I can't access the thing. Can someone help me with my computer? Today, computer problems are stuff like that. Back in esports, our computer problems were, hey, Adam, my computer won't turn on. Help! So I'm okay. I go to the team house and I inspect their computer to see what's wrong with it. And their motherboard is covered in teriyaki sauce.
Wait, what?
Their motherboard is covered in teriyaki sauce. This is an actual thing that happened to one of our Overwatch players. So the computer and tech problems back then are problems like that. It's not actual intelligent adult problem. They just spill teriyaki sauce and they didn't even know. And that's why the computer won't turn on, because the teriyaki sauce short-circuited everything in the motherboard. And so it's problems like that.
Wait, Adam, can I just ask you a jump-in question real quick?
Yes. What question?
A jump-in question, based on what you just said.
Yes. Yeah.
Did we ever have an Overwatch team? I thought we were planning to, but we never actually made an Overwatch team.
We had 2 Overwatch teams.
Oh, okay.
But neither of them got into the Overwatch League because we didn't want to. we didn't have a convenient $10 million in our back pocket to buy into the league. So we did not actually go into like the actual Overwatch League, like their system. But before that was established, yes, we had two over. Oh my God.
And you didn't feel like self-funding because you're selfish. Okay.
Uh,
You could have self-funded that 10 million. Come on,
the
Parkzer.
10 million from me. Okay. Another something. Okay. One of our Overwatch teams was from Sweden. We had a European Overwatch team. One of them was, I guess, just like a worldwide global team that we built. And then one of them, I believe, I don't remember if this was CS:GO or Overwatch. I think this one might have actually been CS:GO. We've had a lot of teams.
Yes.
The problems. So like today's issues are like somebody posts in PTO saying, "Hey, there's like a repair issue that I need to handle in our house. I'll be out for 2 hours." And they post it in our PTO channel. They leave and then they come back and everything is fine. It's an adult problem. One of the team houses, or an example of a house problem is, hey, the dryer is not working. So I go to look at the dryer and there is the lint catcher literally is this thick, a gigantic block of lint. So like nothing was getting filtered out, or like the air was not leaving, the moisture was not leaving the machine because they did not empty the filter or like the lint catcher. I am shocked that the house is not ash right now because that is like the worst fire risk
hazard
I've ever seen in my entire life.
I use dryer lint as fire starter. Like I build my own fire
exactly.
starters. Like
Wait. You
It's
can use
not-
dryer
yes,
lint as fire starters?
yeah, you can
Right,
stick them
yeah,
in like paper towel tubes.
That's sick.
You just have fire
It's
starter.
very flammable, so it's actually very
It's very-
good to start fires, like campfires with.
It sounds like
Uh,
there was some babysitting involved, or quite a bit.
There
in that
was.
scenario.
So the nature of the problems were very different. So, I mean, as you mentioned before, if you're an adrenaline junkie, then I guess, oh no, this $2 million house could have caught on fire and been burned down to nothing. Good thing I showed up in time. Like if like that's the kind of like adrenaline that you want, then yeah, esports is way better as opposed to game development, which is just like normal adult thing. So that's the main difference. Wait, what was the question?
I mean, you get a lot more stories out of this.
Yeah.
Out of esports, I guess. It's content.
Why'd I
The main
start
question
talking
was,
about-
what did you love more about esports than game development? And what do you love more about game development versus esports? If you had to pick
I
one
liked-
for each. Like one
I
preferred
liked
team.
not having to pay for a $2 million house because our players burned it down.
Okay.
So that's what I liked. The thrill, the intrinsic joy and satisfaction of saving a $2 million house is greater than the joy that I get from somebody coming to me and saying, "Hey, can I have PTO?" And then saying yes. The scale of the excitement is a bit different. And I preferred the esports one. What do I
I need to
like
change
better
my
about-
tax withholdings.
Yeah, the satisfaction that I get from fixing somebody's form W4 is a little bit less intense than showing up and wiping teriyaki sauce off of a motherboard. As for what do I like better about game development over...
Like, what would you say like you love more about game development as opposed? I know that you've talked a lot about esports and the negatives of it, but I don't know. What's your favorite part about the company now being in game development, as opposed to something you've already mentioned of more stability, at least working more so with adults, kind of that you've hinted or directly said at. Like those are some positives.
Okay, I feel like surely there's different people in here. Like people are cycling in and out. So I want to re-clarify here. This is I don't contribute to game development. I'm only on the corporate side. So I do legal, finance, and HR administration, and I don't make the game. So I don't want this to sound like an underhanded insult, but the part that I like about game development is that I get paid more because esports is poor. I don't make much money in esports, but game development is an actual real company that actually has like real finances and real revenue coming in and real expenses going out. So I get paid more now than I did in esports. So that is what I like better about game development. That is sort of an indication of how distanced I am from game development. That is just my main key thing that is better.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I guess that's my answer.
Fair enough. There's an interesting question I just saw from John War that just came in. When do you plan to update Tempo's Wikipedia page? I think notable enough to update from an esports company to a legit game development company. Now, Adam, I'm not sure how well you're aware of this. But even when the Bazaar came out, we had some community members that tried to make a Tempo the Bazaar page talking about the game, and they shared some links about companies that spoke about us, and the Wikipedia, I guess whoever manages it or whoever answers, they came back and said it looks like you paid these people to write reviews for you, even though some of the reviews weren't even positive, and we've never paid anyone for it, and they just rejected our the Bazaar Wikipedia page. I don't know if it exists now. Technically, as a company, you cannot make a page on your own. It has to be community driven on Wikipedia as per their terms. But yeah, they rejected us every time any community member messaged on behalf of us. Not even on behalf of us, sorry, that's the wrong wording. When they did it on their own, and they told us, okay, we got rejected because they're saying you're paying people for media stuff. And I was like, we've never done that.
Shahrukh, I cannot believe you paid somebody to talk about how bad the Bazaar is.
Yes, I was on the other side, yeah.
So Tempo's Wikipedia page is under Tempo Storm. So technically, when do we plan to update it? Never, because it's just a relic of our old esports years. Tempo Storm is specifically the esports brand. It'd be fantastic if somebody out there in the community for free would, so we don't get accused for paying people, would put together a Wikipedia page for the Bazaar or for Tempo Games or whatever, but we don't have control over that. Wikipedia, the entire point of it is for the community or for the general public to put together a page describing a product or describing a thing and teaching people about it. And if Tempo Games internally either pays people or hires people to do it, that is more or less conflict of interest because it's just an internal entity doing it. So it has to be basically up to you all. So, who is the one who asked that? John?
Yeah, it was John, yeah.
Please update on Wikipedia.
So, John, the actual question is,
It's
when
up
do
to you.
you plan on updating Tempo's page?
Yeah, as a company, you're not allowed to update anything on Wikipedia, right? So we can't have any input. We can't tell you what to write. You're welcome to submit your own feedback. But I do know there was a few people around the time of the Bazaar when we were first coming out, and I think even as early as like 5 months ago, people submitted reviews and we got flagged that we're paying for media or something, and it just wouldn't go through. And I have no idea what like we're not paying for any media. I mean, Adam knows all the financials. He would know if he paid for anything, like paying someone to write a review for us.
That is so goofy because so many companies actually do paid media. Okay, this is a reward for people who joined in for your Q&A, is that you get insider information about the industry. You know how companies, when they release something, there's just happens to be a ton of news outlets just ready to press that publish button exactly at the time that it comes out. It's because they're like giving these companies like information ahead of time and they're planning this all out. Sometimes it's because the company is notable. So for example, if this was done by Blizzard, just covering a Blizzard game is important enough that press companies would want to do this. But for not as important companies, they are paying for this. Another thing that may shock you, when people receive awards or recognitions or make it onto like Forbes 30 under 30 is a popular one for this. They are paying press agents and other people to use their connections and sometimes to even pay the entities directly to get awarded this recognition. We don't do that. Tempo, funny enough, most other companies do that, and we do not. Andre has a very firm stance on putting as much money as possible into actually building the game and not marketing the game. So the philosophy is basically, if the game is great enough, people will share it on their own. We don't have to pay people to play it. They'll play it because they want to play it. And the best way to do that is to put that money and hire another developer, hire another engineer or artist, and actually create things that people will like. And In the short term, that's obviously not that great, because if you pay for advertising and then you get an immediate ROI, you just get a nice boost in players or whatever. So it's not good for short term, but for the long term, it's basically like brand identity and brand trust. And Andre has really focused on not basically looking like a sellout brand and not paying people, not paying streamers. So you may have noticed a lot of games on their launch, half of Twitch is like, hey, hashtag ad, check out this cool, amazing game. The Bazaar did not have that because we literally never paid a streamer to play the Bazaar. All of that money that would, and then also keep in mind, these streamers are like one of the most overpaid marketing avenues I've ever seen in my entire life. They're making astronomical, like multiple thousands of dollars to just show a game for an hour. All of that amount of money can instead pay for staff members, give them incentives and performance bonuses, and otherwise be put directly into making the game better, as opposed to just farming short-term marketing. Now, I want to clarify, I am not a marketing expert, and I'm not implying that every other company is wrong. Obviously, there's multiple different ways to do things, and it would not make sense for me as a legal and corporate operations guy to just be dismissive of all of them. But that is basically the philosophy that Andre has stuck with, and we would much rather be consistent and just follow our ethics, like our ethical and moral pillars, as opposed to buying marketing or whatever. Why did I start talking about this?
No, it was from a question, and I can add on to that. I have a friend that is, I guess you could say, is fairly popular. I think they have like 300 to 500,000 followers on Twitch, but their viewership is, depending on what they're playing, it ranges between 500 up to 2,000. And they told me what they normally charge per hour, or I can't remember. Sorry, it might be for 1 hour or 2 hours for playing a game. Was, I believe, 6,000. It was, the amount was $6,000 for sure. I just don't remember if it was for 1 hour or 2 hours. So yeah, advertising.
Same range.
Yeah, I just don't remember exactly if it was like 6,000 per hour or per 2 hours. But yeah, those things do add up, and I feel like we did quite a bit of a good move on that. That, you know, we didn't spend all that money on forcing people to play a game, and, you know, I feel like a lot of times when you do that, you get people that don't enjoy the game, and they're just kind of going through the motion of it, and, you know, not really taking into account of all, you know, like the unique aspects and everything. John, what per hour? Yeah, I believe it was 6,000 for 1 hour or 2 hour. But it might have been an hour. I just don't remember exactly what they said. This was like almost a year ago. But yeah, it's one of my friends, and he is a streamer, so he does that full time.
Multiple thousands per hour is common.
Yeah.
Sometimes even people with less than 500,000 Twitch followers will charge multiple thousands per hour. So it just didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
So one of Tempo Storm's influencer marketing projects was with Cygames. Cygames and the creator of Shadowverse. So Tempo was behind a lot of the marketing for Shadowverse. And that process sort of just gave us, I guess, a early look at influencer marketing rates. And Cygames specifically, they built a plan. I mean, we built a plan together, but they had like just the general idea of how they wanted to act on their marketing. Oh, is that a Cygames card pack?
These are Shadowverse card packs. So it's hard to do with
Shadowverse.
the green screen curtain
The green
taking away,
screen,
but yeah. I just remembered, I was
So-
like, I have these.
So they wanted to, oh, this one is absolutely wild. They wanted to have VTubers as part of their marketing. VTubers charge more than actual people. VTubers, their rates were in the tens of thousands per hour or per campaign. I don't get it. I just don't understand VTubing. You're watching just a pixel that moves at like 2 FPS. I personally don't get it. I used to just flame them all the time. At this point, I'm like, okay, whatever. That's just like people are interested in VTubers. That's fine. That's up to them. But I just don't get it. And I think having an early look at those, oh my God, are you showing VTubing stuff? Are those VTubers?
Those are all VTubers.
Okay, well, and that gave us an early look at just how expensive it is and like how bad the ROI is. And I feel like also the culture of promotions has changed now, where people now know, oh, these streamers are doing it because they need to make money. So we're here and we're engaging with the content just to support the streamer. And it's not like they know going into it that they're getting paid for it. And it's like, okay, like there's no like actual real attachment to it. So ultimately what you're paying for is like a display ad, like just for the exposure and not so much like a guaranteed engagement of like buy or like downloading the game or buying the game or whatever. So I guess, I mean, if you have an amazing game, then I guess that works. But if not, I think it's just like you're setting yourself up for failure. If you have created a product that is not actually that good, and then you're wasting tens of thousands of dollars, both on VTubers or on like regular human beings, to just show the game. What was the question?
No, yeah, you answered the question, and I love how someone said earlier, I am, it's not now, I think you have to scroll up, someone just straight up said, I look forward to every time Adam speaks, and then asks, what was the question? Like, it's become a staple.
A lot.
Yeah. But no, someone said, can't wait for, what do you call it, Sokolov to get fired for the VTubing stuff. And then, it's funny, because he's literally in the call with the only 2 people that work in HR. But I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I think I used to have a VTuber rig, not a rig, but like it was like a camera motion sensor thing. It just picked up off your camera. But
you used to be a VTuber?
No. I had it set up so I could turn it on and off. So I would turn it on for like 3-4 minutes, and the ones I used, I don't think I should talk about on a work stream. Let's just say there was lots of.
Does your VTuber model have huge boobs?
I wouldn't say that. I would just say there's a lot of physics and gravity involved. But moving on from that.
Why did you have jiggle physics on your VTubing model?
I could only choose from the free ones. I didn't pay for any. These are only the free ones available I could download.
This should not be a surprise to me. It's unbelievable.
It was the free ones. I didn't get to pick what I wanted. I had a limited amount that were free that I could pick from. This HR meeting is so entertaining. Yes.
Are there clips of you using this?
I might be able to find 1 or 2, but I don't think I'm gonna post it anywhere. Okay, Chiquita's the one that's seen it in the chat. Yeah, I think she was around when I was doing those streams. And
hey, Derek, what did you say?
Oh, I was saying this probably preceded the Doki Doki Literature Club thing.
It was around the same time. It was around the same time.
It connects. Right?
Yeah, they were connected.
It's a similar audience that engages with those type of games and VTubing culture.
Exactly. Now, Derek, I will let you lead with. Do you want to pick 2 questions from? Do you have about 2 questions you could find from the chat, or would you like me to go?
Yeah, someone asked the question just now about
I'm gonna go to the
whether we would.
I asked because I want to go to the bathroom, so I'll wait until you get back, so it's not 2 empty seats.
That's fine. So someone asked a question about whether we will be adding an influencer or VTuber themed hero. And then I think there was another similar question about this. Basically, maybe, but probably not. And the reason is not because of what they are, but because if you think about the item set of what a VTuber or influencer themed hero would have, it's going to overlap significantly with Dooley's item set, right? He already has a bunch of toys and computer stuff. Peg also has some. And so it's like part of what we have to figure out when we're designing a new hero and figuring out is there a new type or new class or a new category of items that we haven't done yet that we can exploit? Because we do not want to do the same item on multiple heroes over and over. Now, Karnak and Vanessa does have some overlap. They both have guns, they both have weapons. So sometimes it's unavoidable, especially with something as simple as a sword or an axe. But we try to branch out and explore different types of characters so that the item sets remain unique.
Yeah, okay. Do you recall who that question was from? I know you mentioned it was like...
Yeah, it was a while back. Let me scroll up here. Newt Noodle.
Oh, Newt Noodle. Oh, okay, I know Newt. And Newt, do you mind just sending me a whisper on Twitch as well? Or if you want, you can probably find me on Discord as well. Send me a message there. I'm just writing down names just for myself, so I reach out to you guys, and I'll just talk to you, and then we can figure out what skin you would really like, or stash. Take your pick. What do you like? Do I get a skin for the Wikipedia question? You know what? It was a different question, so you know what, John, I'll give it to you. So, John, I'll write you down. Can you send me a whisper on Twitch as well, please? And then we will go from there. Okay, just send me a whisper, and then I'll figure out how to find you on Discord. Just confirm it is you, and then we'll go from there. Derek, sorry. On that note, Derek, did you have another question that you want to answer quickly? From the
Not
chat?
immediately, no.
Okay, awesome. So then let's go to a question back from a question that were submitted. Okay. So now this one I think actually played out very well in our favor. It was a little bit of lift, or quite a bit of lift in the beginning, but I think it showed great conversion from when we implemented it. So Derek, how did adding additional translations pan out in terms of difficulty to add versus payoff?
Yeah, so with a lot of features, it can often be difficult to figure out, if it's worth doing. Part of what you want to do in development is estimate the impact of a particular feature and weigh it against the others, right? You want to figure out, like, okay, if we do this, it's going to take X amount of time, but it's going to have these impacts. If you do this other thing instead, it's going to have these impacts, but take this amount of time instead. And over time, when you do that enough, you start to get a sense of a better sense, and your estimates get better. But if you don't practice that, and you're just sort of saying, no, this feels good to do, whatever, you don't practice that muscle, essentially, of like making estimates. Now, there's not just estimates, there's ways to math it, model it, and such. And so you're developing those skills of figuring out how to make a good estimate. But ultimately, sometimes you just never know. In this case, translations, especially for the Chinese market, was vastly, I think, significantly more successful than we probably would have anticipated. And today, a large part of our player base is from the Chinese region. Now, that's not just translation. When influencers and streamers on that side of the world is picking us up, that built some momentum as well. But we did see an uptick, in particular, when we started the translation stuff. In terms of effort, doing things like that can be difficult or not, depending on what stage of the project you're in and like what engine you're using, and there's lots of stuff like that. Translations are not super easy, because what you're really doing in terms of game development or software development is initially you're just typing the text, right? If you want to display a sentence, it's just in English, and you just type it on there, and the program displays what you tell it to display. In order to support translations, what you have to do is change that to a key format. So now, instead of displaying the sentence, you're displaying some key value. There's different ways of doing it, but let's say in this case, it's key 2745. And then it combines that with your current language selection and looks it up on the table, which particular string to display, right? And so you have to do that everywhere for every piece of text, because if you don't do that, that piece of text does not get translated. And then, of course, there's the actual translation itself, and working with our translation partners to figure out the best way of saying something. The Bazaar in particular has a lot of puns and English play on words, which a lot of card games do. And some of that can be difficult to translate. And you need to decide, like, okay, this pun literally does not work in this other language. What are we going to call this thing, right? And so there's stuff like that. Like most things in life, though, momentum matters. And once you've started something, and once you've gotten to a certain point with something, it's easier. So in this case, adding additional translations is significantly easier than obviously starting the first one. The second one's easier, the third one's easier, and so on. So now, if we have another region that we're interested in adding, we have a process, we have the systems in place, and it's just much easier. If you have lived life long enough, you understand this, that the first step is the hardest. And it gets easier once you have built those muscles.
Exactly. And the first step also included, building out a system that was extendable too, right? It's like, hey, we're not building a system just for one language. We want to make sure it can, accommodate other languages as we get to add them. And I believe we put out an announcement This was a little bit ago, and we collected people for specific languages to help play tests and to make sure the translation that we're doing is accurate, and had to make sure, and also I think it was mostly to get feedback from active players to make sure it does translate properly, right? Because when you're translating things, the biggest issue is always going to be it could translate properly, but it doesn't make sense in the terms of what the game is trying to do or say, right? So for lots of languages, that's a hard part to learn.
Professionals in other like professional translation houses, even if they have native speakers, if they don't play the game, they're not going to understand the nuance of why is it this form of the word damage than this other one.
Yeah, awesome.
I have to address this. Is Muffin a staff member?
No.
Unpaid intern.
Wait, do you know who Muffin
is not in the internal Discord server, right?
On our playtest server, yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know who they are.
I have to share one of my peak achievements of this week. Our QA guy, what was it? Our QA, so in Discord, now there's a feature where you can set the status of what you're doing in the voice channel. And at Tempo, because we're all remote, we're a global company, the way that we basically collaborate is that we sit inside voice channels, or at least they sit inside voice channels. I work unusual hours, so I'm not there. But they sit in voice channels and they set statuses for what they're doing. And our QA guy, Eric, set the thing as audio something FR. FR as in like for real. So I assumed that they were like doing it at one point, but then got distracted. And now he's like, okay, now for real, we're doing it. So it was FR in all capitals. And I went in there and I started treating it as audio tests FR. And I treated it as if it was an audio test for French. I went in there. I'm like, okay, I too will check my French language package in this channel. To be clear, I'm basically never in the Discord server unless there's like a meeting that I need to go to. So I just showed up, which is very unusual. And I'm like, okay, let's test this French audio, do this French audio test. Later on, I changed the channel name or the status of a different channel that we were in to French audio testing, voice pack testing. And then our actual real audio guy shows up and he's like, wait, we're adding a French language pack or audio pack? What's going on? And he seemed genuinely concerned that there was actually so we had scoped into French voiceover. So I, of course, everybody else was like, no. But I quickly took over the conversation and I'm like, wait, really? Nobody told you that we're adding French? Oh my God. Why do people not communicate these things? Aren't we supposed to have somebody who's supposed to let you know? Wait, Max, aren't you the main audio guy? You should have known about this weeks ago. Max actually, I believe he was actually mildly panicking. But it was fake. We were not including French.
Yes.
French localization, maybe, but French audio pack, no. At least not anytime soon. And then at that point, especially the reason why I found it funny that Max fell for it is because out of all the languages that we could do an alternative voiceover for, why would we pick French? It's just such a random language to do a dedicated voiceover for.
Yeah, I feel like I got caught up in that too. Adam just messaged me. He's like, Eric broke the French audio pack or something.
French language pack.
What happened? He's like, I don't know, but Eric broke it. I was like, how did he break it? We don't even have it. Is like what I was thinking. And then I'm joining the chat. I was like, Adam just told me Eric, you broke something. What happened? So it was there was a lot of confusion going around, but essentially it was all Adam's fault for not knowing FR means for real. Yes.
So yeah, that is usually why I don't join meetings. As you can probably tell from this, I just want to clarify. This happens every podcast I'm on. Every time somebody invites me to do something, I show up, I sort of answer the questions, and then we always end up just telling anecdotes. So I just want to clarify, this is not me sabotaging Shahrukh's show or his Q&A. This is sort of just what you get into when you ask me to show up on a stream. Anyway,
yes. I I do agree with that. Adam is chief gaslight. I would say Adam is very up there in terms of his
Wait, what was the question?
gaslighting skills.
I have never gaslit a single person in my entire life. Not even
And that's the
once.
exact answer you're going to get. Now, on that note, Derek, we might go a little bit over for a few questions, but I want to run to the bathroom real quick. Did you have a question from chat you wanted to pick to answer, or do you want me to read one for you?
I have one. There's a couple actually that I.
Okay, awesome. Do you want to answer those, and I'll be right back?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, awesome. I'll see you guys in a second.
All right. So someone here, Dev Azika or Akiza, sorry, got it wrong. They're asking about fan-made items. I will say that as a game designer, I love when players do stuff. Part of what the joy of making games is when players and fans engage with your product, right? And making items, in this case for a game like this, where we have lots of content, is part of that. So I love looking at them. I look at them all the time. The tricky part, in terms of like trying to get some of that into the game, is that most of the content that players tend to create will have some quirk about it that is not supported, that I couldn't just do it. And it would need some kind of tech. Now, a lot of those things are very creative and we like them. But imagine, for example, that it takes my engineers a week to implement whatever the feature would be to support that item. And sometimes there's client work if it has a visual side of it, etc. And so if we were to do 100 of those items for a hero and they're all unique in that way, that's 100 weeks of time for my engineers, and that's functionally impossible. So we are starting some initiatives to try and get some player created content into the game, and I'm putting together the shape of what that looks like currently. So you may see that, in the coming months. But in general, it's not super easy, because players have different. You guys just don't have the context of what's actually possible within the current code base and the framework that we have. So, yeah.
Derek, were you around when Andre wanted to create the Bazaar theme park?
No.
Okay. I don't know how serious. I mean, if we had unlimited money, we would do that.
Sure.
I'm bringing it up because somebody asked, are there any plans or discussions about in-person events like an IRL Bazaar Con in the future? I would love for there to be a Bazaar Con or like any kind of in-person thing. I generally am somebody who prefers in-person things instead of online anyway. And I don't know if this makes me just sound like I'm 200 years old, but the creation of AI and the improvement of AI has made me less interested in the internet and more interested in just like actual human to human interaction and in-person events, because it feels like just more genuine, and I don't have to question as to whether someone is like not real on the internet or like how much I'm being deceived on the internet. So in general, I am very pro in-person stuff. And if there is a convention for the Bazaar, that would be fantastic. That would remind me of my old TwitchCon days when we did like booths for Tempo Storm. We had panels where we actually did live Q&As at TwitchCon many years ago. One of my favorite TwitchCon memories was actually when we ran a little tournament for Killer Queen, which is like a little arcade game in our TwitchCon booth. So in general, like I would like to, at this point, it comes down to a matter of money and cost, as well as the logistics of it. But once we actually have the money to be able to do this, yes, BazaarCon would be fantastic. With that being said, we have done one in-person event.
Yes.
And I actually went to it. I flew from the United States to Vietnam. I went to Hanoi. And we had an in-person event in Vietnam. It was the first, I was told that it was like a tournament, and I realized it was more like a LAN party. So I went to a LAN party in Vietnam. And if Shahrukh or anyone from our community team organizes stuff like that, I travel all the time. I have been a digital nomad for many years now. I've been literally homeless. In 2021, when I did not renew my lease on my apartment and I was just on the road nonstop. So I'm fine with traveling anywhere. So if you all in chat can convince our community team to set up events like this in person, then I'd be happy to join in and help either run it or set it up or organize it or be there saying, yes, you can spend this money. So yeah, that would be great. And
Yeah.
then also for the guitars, yes, I actually do play the guitar. These are not just for decoration. I have I think like 8-ish guitars total. This is not all of them. And then I don't remember what your other questions were, but my favorite one is this one. It is a custom Fender.
The black one.
Yes, the black one. It is matte black. And this one is custom made in Corona, California at their headquarters. That one is my favorite one.
Nice. Yeah. No. To be fair, also Lost in Thought. You said I went to Vietnam for that too. You went to Vietnam for the tournament that we hosted in person, because that'd be pretty cool. But I don't think we met anyone that specifically said they flew out just for that. We did meet, I believe, number 3 player in the world at that time. That was local there in Vietnam. So yeah, that was a really cool event. I would love to do more. You know, if anyone's interested in hosting these, I'd be happy to assist where we can. You know, put up some prize money. But you know, it's just about logistics or what we can do at the time. But I think these are really cool. I think they're really fun.
Lost in Thought. Were you at the one where I was there or the one where Andre was there? Because we went to 2 separate ones.
Oh yes, Andre did a second one.
Yes. So the one that I did was live streamed. So there's actually a VOD of this on the Tempo Lifestyle channel. And then the second one, it was streamed, but I don't know if it was archived. I don't know if did Andre show up on the live broadcast? Do you even know?
Yeah.
Oh, he was.
I don't
Okay, so
remember.
Lost in Thought was in the one where Andre was.
Yes,
Okay, yes.
Okay, that makes sense because I remember no one mentioned that they flew out for that when me and you were there. Okay. Adam, I guess it just means we don't have enough Riz. No, Riz is not the right word for this. It's pull.
True.
I'm trying
Please
to use a
acquire
younger
additional Riz.
Oh, I need to acquire additional Riz. Yes. I don't think that's the right term for this though. I think is it pull?
No, it's
that what it is?
acquire.
I mean,
You
acquire
have
is
to
like the actual
construct
word.
additional Riz.
Okay. Okay, we'll go with Riz, I guess. But okay, so but yeah, no, that event was honestly awesome. I think that's also the event where me and Adam, because we were there together when we were at the mall, we randomly saw an indoor in the mall on the bottom floor, a zoo out of nowhere, and me and him are both like, "Is that a zoo in the middle of this place?" It was very cool to see.
Literally, I just wanted to clarify. Literally the most unethical zoo I've ever seen in my entire life, but very amusing. They had like literal llamas just like standing there. Unfortunately, the llamas could only take like 3 steps, which is why it
Yeah.
sucked. They're probably going to die early and have a miserable life. So it's I highly do not recommend running a zoo like this. With that being said, it was like a jump scare to see like literal farm animals just inside a gigantic mall. It's like a shopping mall.
Yeah,
The
no.
other instruments that I play are this may be shocking but I'm Asian. I play the piano. I also play. I guess you already see the guitars. I do drums and percussion. I play the ukulele. I played the saxophone and clarinet when I was a kid in marching band. What else do I play? I sort of just like I played a lot of instruments growing up.
Do you play
but
the kazoo?
As you can probably
Someone wants
tell,
to
the
know.
main ones that I play are guitar.
Is the kazoo one of them? Someone just asked.
I'm sure I could figure out how to play kazoo, but I wouldn't consider myself a kazoo expert.
Okay, awesome.
What is the
okay.
Ganjo?
I think Genjo is it's like
It's a
like
bizarre
guitar.
version of a banjo.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks kind of like a guitar. It's a banjo, but Ganjo.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think it's in any way real.
Yeah,
But there's probably symbols.
banjos are real.
Banjos are real, but
Yes.
as far as I know, there's no real life instrument called a ganjo.
Yeah.
There's some results for it on Google. Apparently, it is a banjo guitar is shortened as
Okay.
Ganjo.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, did we invent it? I don't know, but the ganjo has existed in the bazaar for a long time.
Yeah.
But no, I am not the
it
one
precedes me, so
I'm not the one who made the Ganjo soundtrack or any of the music. In fact, I'm actually not in the bazaar at all. A long time ago, they wanted me to voice act for one of the characters, but that was like 3 design teams ago. This was like in 2021. This was before Derek as well, when the team was substantially smaller. We've gone through like multiple iterations of like the development team. One of the older ones insisted that I should be a voice actor for one of the characters, which I was fine for, but that never actually ended up happening.
Yes, and we're all happy for that.
You're not in the bazaar yet. I mean, technically, if they really want me to, I am not opposed to doing something, contributing something to the bazaar. But I mean, I care about my reputation though, so I'd probably only do it if it's like an actual nice thing that I like actually appreciate.
Yeah.
Which I guess could be a character.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
Derek, write the most despicable character. Not right, but I mean, just design the most despicable character, and then we'll put Adam's voice on it. That'll work out great, and we'll get Isaac to even make the lines even worse. Awesome. Well, so we are getting close to time. We're going a little bit over. Generally
When is
scheduled.
time?
We never have a set time. Generally, we aim these for anywhere between
I don't really
an hour
get.
and a half to 2 hours. But if you guys are okay, we can go a little bit more to answer a few more questions that the people asked. Is that okay?
I mean,
I know
I'm
Adam,
fine
you're okay,
going-
but Derek, just
Yeah, I'm
double
fine
check with
too.
you. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So there is one here that Muffin asked a while back that
Sure.
I want to take. They're asking basically about the distribution of cards in a particular run and how many items are expected to come from cross hero and versus your own. So I would say that there's no hard rule here, but that in general we want the majority of the items you get in a run to be from your hero. Like in some ways you could ask, what's the point of having distinct heroes with their own item pools if you're playing mostly cross hero items, right? So that said, the cross hero items can be very exciting because it often lets you do things that you couldn't do without them. And so there's just this balance of like, we want it to happen often enough that it's that you get to do the fun thing, but not so much that you're no longer playing your own hero. And because of this, it's unlikely that we'll create items that are like jewels and pig. We'll just put them into one or the other. And if it's a cool item for jewels, then you can get it off the pig merchant or off one of the events that gets you the item, and that will become the rare thing, as opposed to trying to force that kind of like shared item pool directly.
Yeah, someone mentioned every time the hellbilly calls me a ski waller, I feel very offended, but I'm not sure why. I feel like that's a question for Isaac. I don't know, Derek, if you know the answer to that one.
I do not.
Yeah, I think
But,
Isaac
yeah,
would know why you should feel offended. Yeah, that's a question for Isaac. We'll potentially have him again on another one of our Q&As in the future, so save that question when you see him. But I'm sure there's some meaning behind it. If it's a voice line, Isaac does a lot of thinking of what everything and how it's all linked together. So there is probably a meaning behind it, and it's probably not good if someone's calling you saying it that way. Awesome. Awesome. Derek, did you have another one from the chat?
I answered a couple directly in chat. Somebody did ask about a while back a change we made where we basically ensured that at the end of day one you were level 2, and they were asking if that would change. So the reason we did that is because there was a lot of variance in the day 1 fights, where some players could get to level 2 if they hit the right RNG to find the right slots, the right nodes, and we adjusted those and we tried to like mess with it, but ultimately we felt that it was just better if we ensured everyone always hits the level 2, so that day 1 fight was a lot more predictable in terms of the power levels of the opponents that you would see. Whereas previously, it's like if you went into that battle as level 1 and you didn't see the right nodes, you were at a severe disadvantage because the amount of slots you're getting is a high percentage of your starting slots. So now everyone will hit level 2 and you are fighting on the same, you at least have the same board space, not always in the same footing, because that's the nature of the game. But yeah.
Okay, wait, Derek, on that, maybe you want to answer this, and feel free to say no. There's always been a lot of speculation about which hero is next, or who's gonna be the next hero that we release. And there's a lot of people that talked about the bipedal wolf character in the intro cinematic. Will that ever be a character? Now, Zuzu mentioned back, I don't think Farai, the wolf guy in the intro, was ever meant to be a playable character. Much more likely, there'll be an event NPC. Now, everyone's always trying to guess who's the next hero. And, a lot of ours have been seen in intros and videos. Do you want to comment on if anyone's ever seen the next hero, or?
No one has seen it. So
Okay, no one has seen it.
It is completely new.
Okay, so there you go. The next hero that does eventually come out, or the one that we're brainstorming and working on, is brand new. No one has seen it, so that'll be cool. Invisible hero confirmed. Yes, it's John Cena. That's the
Have I
next
seen
hero.
it?
I don't think so. It's in concepting still, so there's no.
Yeah, it's
there's no
very
completed
early.
report to it.
So I can't just super admin into Google Drive and then snoop around to figure it out.
I think you could probably find drives which have images of it.
You have to find a Miro board, I think.
I think you could find your way into what it looks like in some like early conversations, but I don't think you get all the
Yeah,
information.
there's no like official completed thing. So
yeah,
but like whatever you find would be very rough concepts at the moment still.
yeah.
But design has a
obviously-
pretty good idea of what it's going to be and how it's going to work. So design, we're already in item land for the character.
Also, wait.
Obviously, as a very dedicated player of the Bazaar, I would, of course, spend a lot of time to figure out what.
It's just Parkzer.
Yeah, that's a new hero, just Parkzer. I don't know, Derek. I don't know how far along we are, but make it. You know, like one of my favorite heroes that we've made has always been. Also, like I to this day I have 0 games on Pig, right? I played all of our heroes except Pygmalion, and at this point now it's just I want to keep up my streak, right? Of not playing Pygmalion. Like I've been here a little over 2 years.
Shahrukh, I have a streak as well.
Oh yes, never playing the game.
For all the heroes.
Yes, but no, one of my favorite heroes that I really liked was always Mac because, and at the same time like Mac and Karnak because, they don't come across as like the goody. I mean Vanessa. To be fair, none of our heroes really come across as goody two shoes, but Mac's voice line just mostly, like him not caring who dies to get what he wants. Whereas, Karnak would prefer other people not to die, but he knows what happens when the creature can take over. Right? So I like those unpredictability in heroes, or like a little bit more of a dark aspect. But that's that's preference wise, right? That's my preference. Probably not for a lot of other people. But yeah, I really liked how you guys designed Mac and obviously Karnak, and like I love all the heroes, but yeah, like Mac, Vanessa, and Karnak are like my favorite ones in the game. I mean, we all have favorites, right? But Derek, what would you say if you had to pick your top 2? I'm gonna limit it more for you because you're the design director. Who's your top 2 heroes?
Oh, heroes? I personally play Vanessa the most.
Wait, Derek,
I like the way she plays.
A little bit.
But in terms of just overall design, is probably Karnak, just because I had the most influence in that one, and I like his aesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah, I do like Mac too. Like if you look at the item set of Mac, he has some of my favorite items in it. Partially because I made them, but also that
No bias
his
there.
entire thing is much more conducive to like weird stuff. And so you get to do stuff like Book of Secrets and Foul Mushroom that are just like a little bit not within the realm of what you would expect any other hero to see. So
Yeah. Parkzer, I will ask, is that your first time opening that box?
No.
Oh,
How many people have this? I brought this out because Dev Akiza asked me why I'm a dually main.
Well, I have 2 of those I think in my home. We gave away 1 in Vietnam. We printed, I believe, 100 of these, and we gave them mostly to staff. I think we gave a few others out. No, we only gave 1 in Vietnam. So, essentially, how many we have left? Utter Moon Milk. Yes, you have 1. I am gonna butcher, but
I didn't know there was stuff on the bottom.
that's staff. Utter Moon Milk is staff. I'm struggling to remember. I think that's Corey.
I've never looked on the bottom. I didn't realize there was stuff on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was made in April 2023.
Yes, I think in terms of official count, because we're never gonna make this version again. The official count that we have left is, I believe, 8 in inventory, and that's what we have left. So we do have 8 sealed boxes that are still sitting there of that Dooley statue. that we are giving away right now. I'm joking, no. I don't want to do anything with them right now. But yeah, we do have, I believe we have 8 left. Is Tempo hiring? At the moment, no, we're not currently hiring. I'm coming to Tron. Oh yeah, I also realized Pickle actually lives not too far away from me. And there's also a few other members in the community that I realized live close to me. So I have to be careful without saying where I go. I don't want to meet them in real life. No, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, no, it's always awesome to meet. I've actually met quite a lot of people that enjoy the game in real life. What does an unpaid intern gotta do to get one of those? Now, okay, just to clarify, we don't have unpaid interns, okay? I think the intern word was not used the right way. Generally, we have playtesters, right? People that want to come playtest the game. We don't officially hire any unpaid positions, like in a contract or any sense like that. So anyone that we do hire is a paid position. But we do have playtesters and localizers that come in and help. And yeah, that's mostly people that want to join in and help assist on making stuff better. But yeah, I would not say we have any unpaid interns. Adam, would you agree with that?
If they were unpaid, I wouldn't know they exist. So
Okay.
I actually can't answer that question, funny enough. Not that I'm aware of, but I also know that Shahrukh maintains an entire Discord server of slaves. And he
What?
makes them like play the bazaar. So we don't have unpaid interns, but we do have slaves under Shahrukh. If that answers your question.
I don't know how to answer that. Are you just trying to throw me under the bus or something?
There is no answer. I answered it for you. Am I not?
What?
Am I not wrong?
What? Wait. Clip
Yeah,
it and
Shahrukh
ship
like
it?
organized like this entire thing. Shahrukh wants to. Did you see what Shahrukh tweeted like a few years ago? He's like hashtag bring back slavery, and like when we
Okay,
hired him, I didn't even. I didn't see.
You know
this.
what's funny though?
I should probably
You
have
can
done a
try
better
to-
job at like.
You can try to find my Twitter. It doesn't even exist.
I should have looked into this more, but Shahrukh
Okay.
is like hashtag bring back slavery.
I can't do hashtags because I don't use social media. So you can't catch me in a
just like
hashtag.
the old days. Hashtag history,
Will you address me
the
now,
right
please?
side of history or whatever, and then he like created this like Discord server. I'm actually in it. It's a bizarre playtest, and like he like sends this like he sends invites out to all of his slaves, and then they join it. And I don't know what's going on in there,
Oh.
but yeah. If you want
It's
more
funny
information
considering
about that,
you're the admin in that one and not me.
you should ask Shahrukh
I
about
have
that.
no
I'm not
status in
involved
that
with it.
Discord.
I'm
you know-
I'm hashtag no slavery. I'm on the other side.
Where do I submit my slave app? Okay, let's not start that. Where do I submit my slave application? Let's not get into that, please. That is not how you join the playtest server by any means. Parkzer just went on a tangent and attacked an innocent
that
man
wasn't
for
a
no
tangent.
reason.
Okay, I do acknowledge that I went on a decent number of tangents today. That was not one of them. That one was just answering the question. I remember the question for this one.
Okay, what was the question? Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Okay.
Shahrukh, what was the question? I'm testing you. What was the question?
I didn't read the question. You answered and went off on your own.
Oh. Nah, I wouldn't do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Not awesome. Okay, sorry. I'm just used to saying awesome when I'm moving on to the next
Awesome.
point. Not
Slavery is awesome.
not in that case. Okay, let's not caught up in that. Let's get caught up in that. Let's do a couple more questions that we have that were registered. We'll take a few from the chat as they pop up, and then we're probably going to call it there. Now, let me pick 1 or 2 questions that we have already submitted to go through, and then we'll open it to the chat for people to submit. And then, any of the good questions any of the last few questions that we pick, will be eligible to get for a skin that I'll talk to you about. I don't know how to get. Okay. Now this one's a little bit deeper, but Derek, I'll lead this one for you. I don't believe you've done this one, unless you guys did it as I was away for a second. Knowing what has and hasn't worked, how about you have changed overall monetization plan for the Bazaar? If you had a chance to go back near the beginning of development process, would you have tried to make adjustments to the game economy to keep things free to play, or would you have planned to go full pay to play from the start?
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. It would be pay to play to right from the start. Two reasons for that. One is that it just costs a lot more to build out the systems and the team required for a full free to play system. And yeah, that's about it. It's just like the return on investment of building that versus just doing it the way we're currently doing it. And because of the nature of the game, and the way that content is created in this game, there's no real easy way of delivering that in a free-to-play system that is fair and ethical from a player perspective, especially on the PvP. The game is a PvP game, so yeah, paid is probably the way we would have gone. Of course, you never know, and hindsight and stuff, and it's possible we just do a different free-to-play version.
Yeah.
We have never really had that conversation, so it's hard to say, but my initial vote would be, yeah, we just do what we're doing now and not have spent the time building all these systems to support something we're not using.
Okay, awesome. Now, Derek, this is another question that comes into a little bit of mechanics that people have brought up a few times. I think I've seen you answer a few times in Discord, but I'm not exactly sure. So they're asking, will there ever be a 4-slot item? Now, on this question, I'd like to expand a little bit more. So that's what the question asks. Will there ever be a 4-slot item? And what I want to add to it is, will there ever be items that change sizes due to another card's effects? I believe a lot of people in Discord have asked that before, but I don't think we have anything in tech-wise ready for it yet, but maybe you guys do. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So yeah, we'll take the first part of it first, the 4-slot item. Probably not. I mean, obviously, it's possible, but just because of the nature of the game and the fact that you only have 10 slots, and that's unlikely to change. Someone else asked if we're going to have like a hero that has more slots and stuff, because it fundamentally changes the balance of the game and the visual board space. It's very unlikely that we would do that. It's so messy from both the perspective of like, how do we design items when there is 12 or 15 slots, and what would that look like, especially on mobile, that it's very unlikely that we would change the amount of board space. And because of that, it's very unlikely that we would ever have a 4-slot item. It's because now you're taking up 40% of the 10 slots, and you're reducing the amount of interactivity between the pieces. And so even the 3-slot items, to be honest, are quite difficult to design for, because they have to be impactful enough to warrant the fact that they're taking up so much space. But then that also tends to make them more complicated in many ways. We have been able to do some effects on them that are very simple, but then they're hard to tier up too, because now, for example, things like Shipwreck, which is +1 multicast, like +2 multicast is absurd. So like there's no vector by which to upgrade those items.
Yeah.
That makes it very difficult. In terms of changing sizes, it's a similar problem in that if you think about a 10-slot board and it has 10 small items and you made one of them bigger,
there's no space.
There's all kinds of questions now. What happens to the item that is adjacent to it that it now needs to occupy the space? How do we resolve that UI UX problem? Like you now have more item slots that are occupied than you have space for. And so bigger, probably not, just because of all the complexity that it involves. Smaller, yes. We actually have a
that would be
enchantment.
our transform mechanic, right?
Pardon me?
That would be similar to our transform mechanic.
Yeah, but currently we call it tiny. It is currently an enchantment, but the current thinking is that it would probably exist independent of that, and it would make large items into mediums and medium items into small items. And making things smaller doesn't have all the same problems, because you're reducing the amount of space it occupies, and it's okay. But then there's still questions of like, okay, if I have a tiny katana and then I see a regular katana, does it upgrade the katana? And so there's all those kinds of questions still to resolve. But it is something we're very interested in because it allows for you to have a completely different vector with which to modify your items. But it is kind of a whole thing.
Yeah, someone mentioned this. I don't know if this is accurate. Isn't squirrel plus pants plus water skin 4-slot item? Uh, I think that's meant to be sarcastic. I don't think that's accurate.
I mean, yeah, there are some combinations of items that are frequently used together.
Yeah,
That sort of becomes a 4-slot item from like
Yeah.
certain perspective.
but they're still different.
Um,
Yeah, there's not a single item that's 4 slots.
Correct.
Yeah. Parkzer, what is your favorite band?
I don't have a singular favorite band, but I guess like pop punk bands. It's like Fall Out Boy, Motion City
Good choice.
Soundtrack, All American Rejects, Blink 182, Sum 41 are ones that come to mind.
Yeah.
Boys Like Girls, Cartel. I like that Boys Like Girls recently made a comeback, and
Wait,
they
they
released
did?
like the live album.
I used to know them
Yes.
years ago.
Cartel did a re-release of one of their old albums. But yeah, I grew up listening to pop punk and punk rock, and I still like those bands.
Boys Like Girls made a major comeback in 2023 after 11-year hiatus. I did not know they even did a comeback.
Okay,
Never
this
heard of
is
it.
your new host, Adam Parkzer. I have a question for you from chat, from Lost in Thought. By the way, Boomer, do you wear contacts all day long, or is it something you just do for stream?
These are actually for vision correction. Actually, I have minus 17 eyesight. Is that what it's called?
If you said that they were actually prescription contacts, I would have probably believed you. Then you
Okay, I
said it
don't
was
think they
minus
make
17.
prescription contacts like this.
Yes, they
I-
do.
Do they really?
You can put a prescription in any contact. Is that not true?
I don't think they
I-
make Solera contacts. Like this one covers like most of your eyeball. I don't believe they make
Okay, so then there's
prescription ones for
literally
Solera
no
contacts.
purpose of you wearing those then.
No, I've actually had these contacts on for almost 5 years. I started as a joke because someone asked me to, and I bought lots of them, and so I wear them for fun, and I have for about 5 years. So most people that have ever seen me on stream have never seen my real eye color in the last 5 years.
Lily says, I thought your green screen was just malfunctioning.
Wait, what? Who said that? Where?
Lily Muggleton, I thought your green screen was just malfunctioning.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay.
interesting how people just fall into stuff and then it becomes like part of them. One of the most popular VTubers around is she actually started because she lost a bet. So
Oh, fair enough. Hey, I
Like,
did stream.
life just finds you sometimes.
Yeah, I did stream for a year, and I actually made enough money to do streaming as a full-time job. And then I lost the joy of playing games after a year, and then I quit, and then went back to work, and then got into gaming, so which is great. I love this much more. Now I stream for fun on the weekends, and I always tell people don't donate or anything. So that is great. Now, by the way, that was not a question for Parkzer. The other, when I asked a question for Parkzer, the other question I got was, what is your favorite way to bully booster stuff? That is not the question we were looking for.
You pronounced boomer stuff incorrectly.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Could you reread the question with the proper pronunciation?
Okay, you know what? Just for you. Right. Parkzer, what is your favorite way to bully boomer stuff?
I don't. Why would I bully Shahrukh? I've never bullied Shahrukh a single time in my entire life. I don't know what you're talking about. So my favorite way would be to just not do it, because I would never bully Shahrukh.
Agreed. I 100% agree with him. And I 100% did not message him earlier this week calling him a dick. This, just things that never happened. Right? We're just going over those
This
things
is
that
your
have
new
never
host,
happened.
Adam Parkzer, taking over. In what ways am I a dick?
I'd rather not go over. You know what? The list
This
is
is-
pretty long. I'd
Shahrukh,
rather
please
not go over
speak
it.
into the microphone and answer this question. What is the most dicky thing that I've done to you?
I plead the. Wait, I'm Canadian. Can I plead the fifth?
No.
Metaphorically.
Metaphorically, I can.
No. What is the biggest dick thing that I've done to you?
I don't think you're a dick. I think sometimes when you talk, you say a lot of things that would be considered like someone talks like a dick. but overall they're useful.
Boring answer.
Oh, obviously I'm not gonna go into a tangent about it.
It's not a tangent if I directly asked you the question. What have I done where you looked at me and it was like,
Oh wait,
wow.
why is the cameras gone? OBS fix. Okay, there you go.
Your stream flickered a couple times.
Yeah, no, I just realized that. Okay, it
What
seems to be
made
back
you-
now.
What have I done to make you look at me and say that dick throbs unbelievably hard?
Not the words I would use in any sense, but I would say usually within the first sentence of when you open your mouth.
This is not helpful. Shahrukh, I'm trying to make your Q&A more interesting and juicy. I'm trying to get
It's
you
not
more
juicy.
fans here.
This
I mean,
HR
these
call
people are
is
like-
crazy. This is literally the two HR people going back and forth. And Derek's just like, what do I do here?
People are going to say like, wow, this HR guy is so cool. I will follow him on Twitch at Boomer Stuff. I'm trying to get you
I'm not
fans
looking
here.
for followers.
This
This
is
HR
now
call is
your
moist.
opportunity.
Oh no, not that word. Let's not call it moist. Let's avoid that one.
This is your opportunity to reveal all the horrible things that I do on a routine basis, because I also want to know.
I'm pretty sure at one point I gave you a list of. If you actually want me to answer, I'm pretty sure I wrote you. I don't think it's bullet points, but I wrote you like 2 paragraphs, and I explained why
You
if
do
I
this
ever
all-
quit, it would be only because of you.
Oh, I missed this. I actually wasn't paying
Oh,
attention.
fair enough. Wow, my 3 paragraphs of if I would ever quit
Wait,
Tempo.
did this really happen?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm glad we got that out of the way. And that was
Yeah, I
reason
guess
number
that-
1.
Hmm.
Am I getting paid for this therapy session?
I mean, Derek, you
Oh,
haven't
you're
been
the
helping
therapist?
in this therapy session, apparently.
Okay, Derek.
Well, no, like, we don't need to dig deeper into this. That wasn't the point.
First of all, Shahrukh, your audio is very bad all of a sudden. Like what you're saying is not really coming through, and that's not me trolling you. Derek, therapist Derek. What do I do when Shahrukh comes with me and writes me a dissertation describing something that is inconsequential, and all I have to say to it is okay?
Well, communication is very important, right? And that's the
Okay.
first step. And so whether you agree with the problems or not, acknowledging that communication happened is an important part.
Okay, that's good. I do that because I say okay. Hey.
Also, that is your response to like some serious problems that I bring up that's not even related to me. And you're just like, okay. Which, okay, let's actually get into the ending of our Q&A, okay? Let's not turn this into a full therapy session.
Wait, why are we ending already? I'm just getting started.
Well, I'm
I
just
used
saying,
to
we
stream-
don't need to go into a therapy session. Like, I'm sure most
I
people
used to
here would
stream
love to hear more questions answered.
Back in 2012, I used to full-time stream. Before the era of Tempo, I used to full-time stream. I'd stream between 8 to 12 hours a day. It's been two and a half hours. I'm just getting started. Derek, I hope you're caffeinated enough to go for an additional 9.5 hours. How
Derek's
likely
face
will
is like,
Tempo
I did not
make-
sign up for this.
How likely
Well,
will it be?
when
that
it
Tempo
comes to
makes-
VTubers, 2 hours is when the stream actually starts. Like the first 2 hours is like the pre-stream yapping session. So
Okay, well, now welcome to the Q&A.
Bruiser
What
is a grandpa. I am the
is the
youngest one
likelihood
on this call. You can't call
That
me a
Tempo
grandpa.
game will make another game, and what genre will it be? Okay, this is another thing that might make you all hate me, and this is another thing to basically demonstrate the unwavering pillar of ethics and morals that Andre has, and me trying to figure something out. So I, at one point, this is same thing, same extent as like the NFT thing, where it's me just like coming up with ideas and like hoping that something could make the company better in the long term. This obviously did not happen. One thing I proposed was like, hey, we can make another company and not tell anybody. And we can put a separate, like encapsulate this in separate project in a different entity. And we can make like a gacha game or like a game where it's like predatory monetization and we farm money off of people and we make millions of dollars. And then we take that money and use it to fund the bazaar. So obviously a lot of the restraints of adding more features into the bazaar or like making things faster, this is obviously not the only reason, but one of the reasons is money. If we had more money to hire more staff or more money to hire more third-party partners to help us with things can happen a lot faster. And we are restricted to some extent by money. And if we had this side gacha game where we farm people unsuspectingly with money and nobody knows it's tied to tempo, and then we take that money and make the bazaar better, the bazaar would be better. Andre said no. So there's no
First
secrets.
slaves, now predators. What the hell? So someone did ask, you want to make a predatory company? The entire conversation was around not making the bazaar predatory. Now, like our entire game is, if you look at like some other like comparisons, right? Look at TFT. Look at, I guess you could say Hearthstone. Look at, I don't know what's like our big similarities that we have companies with. But look at the ones that have skins, right? Like I'll use Valorant even as an example. Valorant's a free-to-play game. Skin pack costs like $80, and it's just skins, right? Game's free to play, buy the skins, right? Lots of people buy the skins. I always refuse to buy skins on that game because I suck at it, not because of anything else. I had a friend literally like donate to me $100, and they said use this to buy skins, and because I couldn't use that money as it was donated for myself, I bought someone else skins just to keep up my streak of never buying skins myself. But I mean, like, you know, like there's all these games you can buy these skins and stuff like that, and especially when you go into mobile, there's all these like gacha things that you can do. We've avoided a lot of those, and realistically, I think if we embraced those, the bazaar probably would have been like much more profitable, but I don't think the experience would have been as more fun. I think that's the difference we would have come to. Like, it'd be more profitable, but it wouldn't be as great of a game.
I don't know if I'm missing some context here, but I actually disagree about the skin thing. Maybe this will make people hate me even more, but I wanted to make the ultimate goal is to go for like a grinding gear games kind of scenario with Path of Exile, where there's literally no pay to win at all. When I'm talking about a secret side subsidiary to farm money, that is like, oh no, you're only 3% away from winning this fight. If you give us 99 cents only, then we will give you a little boost, and then you can make more progress in the game. That's the kind of pay-to-win predatory monetization that I'm talking about. And I think cosmetics are great because it doesn't affect the gameplay at all. It's a way for people to support the company if they want to, and it's all voluntary. You can get the most out of the game, or everything out of the game that you want without applying the skin. So I think skins actually are a healthier form of monetization. Obviously this was at a point, so I think it's very well known now that Tempo, over its past 11 years, 12 years now, we've had phases where we've basically had zero money, that we were in debt. And many people figure this out. Some people have done like expose videos on YouTube. I'm like, okay, you can expose as this is common for a business, is that you spend a lot of the investor money, the projects don't end up how you want them to. As I mentioned earlier in this stream, our PUBG team, our NA championship PUBG team, lost us $300,000. So this happened. It's been well known. And then we also did a Regulation CF. It's a crowdfunding investment round with Republic. And that requires us to do annual reports of our finances. So if you go on the Securities and Exchange Commission website, the government website of the United States, a basic level of our finances are already on there. And the reason why I wanted a side company to do this predatory money farming is if we didn't do that, there was a high chance that everybody would be fired and the company would get shut down. But yes, Andre said no, and then Andre found a much more reasonable way to get us through this, which would be to close the Series B financing round and actually take real investment rather than exploiting people for money. But Yeah, the type of monetization that I know is bad, which is why I suggested putting it in a side company, because I know it would damage the reputation of the Bazaar, is pay to win mechanics where you can't progress the game, or it makes you pay tiny bits at a time so you don't realize that the money is going out. It's like, oh, 49 cents only, and then for the next 30 minutes you'd be able to for the next 30 minutes you can play uninterrupted, and like that really adds up, and that's the type of monetization that I don't like. But in a point of desperation where it's either that or firing everybody because the company is going to shut down, I would prefer to make this, not because I agree with the monetization, but because it's sort of like all other game companies are doing it. I'm the type of person who's not an activist. I'm somebody who just uses the system, basically. Andre is very strong in his ethics, and he would never do that. I forgot what the original question was again.
Yeah. No, I feel like I answered the question not exactly like the way I was trying to share it as. I was mentioning like I've never bought Valorant skins, obviously because I suck at that game. That's why. But all my friends buy skins, right? And then also in the beginning of the game, you can buy your gun and drop it for your friend, and they can pick it up and they can buy it again. So that's how I farm the skins. I let my friends buy it and then they just drop it so I can pick it up. But I think skins do work well. I think we tried an implementation of this. It didn't work well. But I think maybe in the future, a skin version would be good for monetization. But like, I'm not really a monetization guy or involved.
Yeah, so when it comes to cosmetic monetization, things have to be structured in a way to take advantage of them. The Bazaar being an asynchronous PvP game reduces a lot of the appeal of that. In your case, for example, if you bought it, you can drop it for your friend. Your friends can see it. You're using it. There's less of that, right, in the Bazaar. Yeah. Additionally, the economies of scale of this matters. Producing good quality cosmetics that people want costs a lot of money, and you need a high enough sales volume to justify that if you're using that as a source of revenue. So the bigger your player base is, the more likely that you can do that. But the truth is most people do not buy, right? And so you need to have enough people buying it, which means a lot of users. So a lot of players will tend to think about the games and like, oh, this game is successful selling cosmetics as their primary revenue. Why doesn't all games do it? And what they don't realize is that that's a form of survivorship bias. Lots of games have had, a cosmetic monetization model and fail. More games fail than succeed. So
yeah,
from probabilistically, in some ways, it doesn't matter what your monetization scheme is. Some amount of games are going to fail regardless of what you try. But the truth for cosmetics is that it does require a higher user base than a paid game, whereas a paid game can get away with a smaller user base and isn't dependent on continual releases of cosmetics. So we're somewhere in between.
I was gonna say we're a little bit in the middle of that in that scheme. Like we are a paid game, but at the same time we have a lot of expectations on us to release monthly patches. And Derek, this question is not from. I'm not looking at the list right now, but this is off the top of my head. I do recall there's a question on this, and it was mostly, when do you decide it is time for? So you remember how we used to do mid-month patches in the past, right? We used to do those. So as we've changed the cadence to monthly patches, when do you decide if something requires a hotfix, if something is too broken, something is like maybe too underskilled, if you would make a hotfix for that? So what is like the threshold essentially where you would make a decision of we need to hotfix this?
Well, the first thing is if it's causing some kind of bug or some crash, right? Where any hard locks or soft locks where players are unable to
I would say outside of like bugs, more so on like
obviously
scaling, more so of like how effective it is in gameplay.
Yeah, we would obviously immediately hotfix that. When it comes to like the balance side of it, I would say we tend to be fairly we try and make a determination as quickly as possible, but our threshold is relatively high, especially since we do patch quite regularly. to begin with. So unless something is really, really egregious, usually in a way that we did not anticipate, that we did not find in our playtesting, if something is just good or just powerful, we usually do not immediately touch it. But yeah, obviously that's somewhat of a subjective thing, and so it just really depends on what is happening. And part of it is not just like power level, but like use, right? If a significant portion of the player base is doing the same thing and it's impacting the overall play experience, it doesn't actually matter how good that thing is. It is warping the play experience. So there's some of that involved as well.
Yeah, Leo just said, yeah, Money Furnace can wait a bit. Money Furnace, that's a pig item. I don't play him, so I don't know. Is that a strong item right now?
It's used quite a bit because of its nature. So I can actually go into a design thing about this. So Money Furnace is above average or average, depending on like what stage of the game it is. But from an overall perspective, if you look at the numbers, it's not particularly overperforming, but it's used a lot. And so the question we would ask in game design is like, why is that? Why are tons of people forcing this thing and continuously using it when it's not the best thing in the game? Because normally you would correlate use with power, and players often do that. Like, I see this thing all the time; it must be very good. And so in game design, we have a concept known as first order strategies, and it is something that a new player or anyone really can just gravitate towards to and do. If you've ever played a game like Dominion, a first order strategy in that game, which is a drafting game, is to just buy lots of coins so you can generate more money so you can buy more stuff. It will work for quite a while, but you won't succeed at a higher level of the game just doing that every time. You have to, adapt more higher level strategies. And so in most games, it's good to have some amount of first order strategies so that players who do not understand the game well enough to execute the higher level strategies have something they can gravitate towards to and just execute. It also helps, sometimes I'm like, I just want to have a chill game. Let me just do this thing. But generally speaking, you do not want those strategies to be so dominant that it's both easy to use and powerful to the point where it overrides all of the strategies. And Money Furnace is in this space right now of where lots of people do it, but it's not actually dominant. So we'll see what happens with it, but that's why it has not been additionally adjusted.
Okay. So mention it's okay as long as you have strength pot, we can almost match the furnace, unless they got 5 to 8% crit. You know what the rules are. If they have 3 to 5% crit, that's usually 80%. If it's 6 to 50, that's 20% crit. That's the way people normally see it. Like anytime they see something at 50% crit rate and they're like, it never crits. Yeah, awesome. Now Adam, question for you.
Can I override your question? I have
Sure.
another story. I feel like this is
More than
what
welcome.
I visualize this is that Derek is like the actual adult and the serious one who's like answering real questions and giving real useful advice. And I'm the one here who's like a human Subway Surfers, where like people after they listen to the serious knowledgeable thing from Derek, they have to have like their break, their dopamine hit. So I'm here telling ridiculous stories. Dev Akiza said, I was a MOBA coach and now I'm a game developer and I get everything you said and I couldn't believe you had the same experience. That reminded me. So we also had a MOBA coach. We used to have a League of Legends team and we had a coach and a manager of that League of Legends team. I believe this guy was like more of a manager and less of a coach, but he's like technically a coach and manager. This is, I got reminded of this because I just finished talking about how Andre is sort of just like, Andre's just insanely patient. Like he's just like okay with things and just like accepts people. Our manager, so Andre used to let the staff, back when we had team houses, the company car is Andre's car. It was just his personal car. And the League of Legends manager, without telling anybody, took that car, allegedly. I did not see this firsthand, but I have all the paperwork that, and like people telling me like the evidence of it. He drove Andre's car from California to Burning Man. and he didn't tell anybody.
For others that don't know, how much of a distance is that?
It's less of like a how far of a distance and more of a he just drove it into the middle of the desert. Like once you get into Burning Man, it's not paved roads. They have like so funny enough, Burning Man is very organized. I'm actually impressed at the logistics of Burning Man. But the roads there, it's just like dirt and sand. And he drove Andre's car into the. I mean, I guess you can look it up if you want to GPS from Burning Man City or Burning Man the town to. I just realized that if you do it, then our cameras disappear. From Burning Man to Corona, California. And he apparently just destroyed this car. And he secretly and quietly took it to a repair shop and paid a few $1,000s out of pocket to get body work done on the Burning Man without permission. We found out anyway. But yeah, so yep, that's MOBA coaches. That is a very common thing to have happened in esports. Did you look up how?
Someone mentioned in the chat 550 miles. What the hell? Does that sound somewhat accurate?
Yeah, it was just in the middle of the Nevada desert. So yeah, it sounds about right. Apparently if the camera's off, we're muted if the camera's off?
No. It was muted for 3 seconds because I hit the mute button by accident. And I unmuted. It was 3 seconds. It was not 10 seconds.
But yeah.
But no, yes.
That is very much a esports story. Also, apparently there were like strippers in the house too. But yeah.
I mean, it just sounds like a bunch of young people's story.
It is. That is basically esports. So
is that where the esports money went? The strippers?
No, they paid for. I mean, technically, yes.
Adam, were you
not the company money,
fluffing the
but
books
like
or something
money.
During that time?
Huh?
Were you like fluffing the books? Business expense?
No, I didn't need to because you see. The company wouldn't be covering all this or paying for it. It would be the players who are rich because they would get large salaries. Oh, this is another Subway Surfer story. H1Z1 Pro League. The company, this was not just Tempo Storm. This was just all teams that participated in H1Z1. They mandated $60,000 per year salaries for these players.
Huh.
They had no expenses. These were people who just came fresh out of like high school or did not have like a background in work. So they didn't have money management skills. And then all of a sudden they're getting paid $60,000 per year salaries as required by the league. And they have no expenses. Not only that, they're getting paid as independent contractors. So they get gross $5,000 per month. Is it 5,000? 5,000 per month. Not
it
net.
Is 5.
It's gross 5,000 per month. Gross 5,000 per month means you then have to set aside a portion of that for taxes, and then you can spend the rest if you want to. They didn't do that. And they also had no rent to pay because there was a team house. So to them, it's just $5,000 of just spending money every month, which it clearly was not, but that's what they saw. This was in Las Vegas. So these people were like buying like private tables at clubs and just getting car loans of $2,000 a month in car payments. And then the league died. The league was supposed to go on for 2 years.
I thought you said the league died, like a person died. I was like, why would you take that turn?
The league itself, the
league
H1Z1
died.
Pro League died.
We do have one staff member that currently, I believe, was an H1Z1 Pro as well.
I believe in the literal entire history of H1Z1, Leighton is the only one who just came out successful out of the. But yes, Leighton was a member of H1. Leighton was actually part of Tempo.
I don't think people know who Leighton is in terms of Discord. I don't want to say his Discord name because I don't want him to get slammed with messages or pings.
Well, he came out. Leighton is very smart and he's very socially aware. He's just like an intelligent person overall. So he came out successful from this because he found unlike every other person.
Ron Pickle just outed who it was.
Huh?
He just said the name that I was trying to avoid saying. Wasn't Candy a Pro H1Z1?
He actually had a future vision. He wanted to make sure that he would not go homeless. So Leighton is very smart. So he actually did the right thing. Everybody else just like defaulted on their car. They would buy like BMW i8s back when this is like just unreasonable vehicles, unreasonable spending. And because the league died after half a year, they all moved back home with their parents, and like they lost their cars to default, and they got it like taken away from collection or like repossessions. And yeah, I don't know what happened to a lot of them. But yes, that is the story of esports. That is wait, what was that? What was the question?
Yes.
It's very weird that
What was the
H1Z1
question?
did that. I can't
very weird
imagine that.
What?
The mandated salary thing, that does not sound like a good idea. Like,
It wasn't.
not from the perspective of like paying these young people, whatever. That's obviously its own problem, but just as like a esports league, doesn't that like how is that sustainable?
So they paid. So they mandated $60,000 per year salaries for everybody, but the league paid Tempo, and then Tempo passed along that money to the contractors.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they saw it as marketing and an investment, but that's I don't know.
yeah. So like they were able to announce, hey, this is going to be a world-class league.
Yeah.
Where people get paid a lot of money to play in this tournament. They get to make this salary, and they don't have to pay for rent. We're going to make these teams cover rent and the team house. So it was basically like a marketing thing saying we're the best league in all of esports. I want to clarify, they were not. They were not the best league. Another. Should we take a break and have Derek answer a question before
Yeah.
this? Because I feel like I'm just like going on endless tangents. The opening night of the H1Z1 Pro League, we went and there were people with signs supporting Tempo Storm, and like the stadium was like full. It was a sold out stadium for this opening night. We're like, wow, how? And our former chief business development officer, our former social media director, and I were there in person in Las Vegas. So we went up to these people who had Tempo Storm signs, and we went to talk with them. We found out they're paid actors. They were paid to show up. They were paid seat fillers. They did not know who Tempo Storm was. This league was substantially worse than it appeared, and it already appeared pretty bad.
Paid bots, yes, Pickle. Same as paid bots.
But that is another example of just a ridiculous esports story of just the money does not add up. The numbers do not make sense. What was the question? What was the original question?
I think we got through the question pretty much. But as we're getting to time, right? For people that have won a skin, we got Enzo, we got Dilogy, we got Max Cabbage. And it's funny that we got Max Cabbage because when I earlier mentioned apples and oranges, Adam, you said back, apples and cabbages. Someone said put that on a shirt. Regardless, we got Max Cabbage as one of the winners. Noodles, John Hua, and we can take apples and cabbages. Yes, Enzo remembers. We'll take one final question that comes from the chat, and between you two, Derek, anything that you think is interesting to answer that pops in. We'll take that.
In chat, but I'll just elaborate here.
Do you already have one?
Yeah, this person is asking me what is something that we currently don't have tech for that would be good. So okay. there are a number of the list is really long. There's so many things we want to do. And the one I answered in chat is something called injected encounters. So some players might remember that we had a genie lamp that would, summon a genie and stuff. It's those kinds of things, and the ability for items to be able to trigger other encounters within them would open up a lot of space in terms of how items function and create interesting moments and such like that. But yeah, there's just lots of features and such that have lots of tech requirements. We, I believe in one of the last Q&As, people have talked about the tournament modes and stuff. We're still working on those. But like technically nothing is impossible, but just lots of things require a lot of work, and we have to manage our time accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Lily, as you mentioned, Lily, for your message, you also get a skin. Because I liked your message. I haven't picked anyone yet, so I'm gonna write you down. Lily, if you are still here, I know you just messaged a few minutes ago. Send me a message on, a whisper on Twitch, or a message on Discord where I can verify if this is you. You get choice of your skin. I can share with you more information when we're in Discord, just to discuss like which skin you would want.
What is the award-winning message?
There's multiple award-winning messages.
What is Lily's award-winning message?
I just like their overall vibe. That was it. Do you have a problem?
Lily, what are you trying to? She said, "Can we quote Adam at all without getting banned on the Bizarre Discord?" What are you trying to quote?
Oh no.
What have I said?
What I'm trying to say there is, I heavily recommend quoting Adam and not me. So you are welcome to quote Adam with what he said. But I mean, you can quote me as well, but I'm just saying. Adam is, I believe, based on the current hierarchy, he is my direct boss.
I mean,
are you not?
That is
I'm pretty sure you
both
are.
true and not true.
Yeah, it's kind of in limbo, but I'm just saying, quote him. He knows better, so. Slavery is awesome, booster stuff. I have never said that. If anything, that was full Parkzer. That was not me.
I am both everyone's boss and nobody's boss at the same time. So I don't exactly know what you mean by that.
I mean, no, I know. Normally my boss is Andre or Reynad. But
is Adam the official Bizarre representative that we may use his words for our tales? Probably, yeah.
I would say no.
Hey, Shahrukh, I heard that there was a patch coming out today, Friday, May 1st. It's already 3 p.m. Pacific time. Could you clarify what time the patch will be coming out?
Yeah, I'm 100% happy to. Derek, did you get the files uploaded yet?
That's not my job.
Exactly. None of us here work on... I mean, Derek works on the patch, but the rest of us don't touch it at all. Can Adam be on all Q&As from now? No! I feel like it'll become more disastrous more and more.
So the reason why I originally said no, and then the only reason why I'm here now separately on this Q&A is because this happens to me every time I'm a guest on a friend's stream or a podcast, is that it just doesn't go the way that the host intends. So the answer to your question is no, I cannot be on Q&As from now on. However, I mean, I'm here now. You can ask as many questions as you like. We're only 3 hours in. We have 9 hours left to go on this Q&A. So
I do not think we're going 9 hours more. I still have work to do after this.
I don't want to derail the actual real Q&A sessions because I feel like those are for like the actual hardcore Bizarre fans to learn more about the game. And even though I derail things and just seem to tornado my way through all of this, I do still want to not interfere with like things that are like important to people, which is, I guess, like actual developer interaction. So for that reason, no, I will not be joining other Q&As. But I mean, we can keep talking now, I guess.
Yes, Adam, there's a personal question I would like to ask you. I still am looking forward to get that Rocker Max skin. I don't think it exists for normal people anymore. Do you think I could get it? I cry.
You're asking me?
Yes.
What is a Rocker Max?
Just a yes or no question.
No, because I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. Someone named Mainly Delicious asked, I'm still looking to get that Rocker Max skin. I don't think it exists.
Yeah, I heard you the first time. Yes, I don't know what that is, though.
Okay, but they don't get it because you said no. Sorry, Mainly Delicious.
I can change my mind.
I mean, I was actually planning to give them that skin. But you said Rocker Maxkin, Leo. It's the guitar playing one, I believe. That's the only one I can think of for Mac. But yeah, sorry, Mainly Delicious. I really wanted to get it for you. But
Mac is a character.
Mac is a character,
Rocker,
yes.
Like a rock star.
yeah, he has a skin where he's a rock star.
I was imagining a rocking chair. I thought this was like some kind of grandpa skin.
No. Also, to be fair, Mac could be a grandpa. He is extremely old. I think lore-wise, he potentially over 400, 500 years old, around there. But he is a magic user, alchemist. So it's it's kind of hard to tell his exact age. But he is trying to live and find the formula for immortality. So yeah, he is around for a long time.
Breaking news. Apparently there's a subathon until the patch drops. So it might be longer than 9 hours.
There is no subathon, and just to make it clear, like, this person did not win a skin of their choice because you said no. I just hope you know that. Yes, Mainly
Parkzer,
Delicious. You lost me only
characters.
because of him. I'm just letting you know.
Okay, again, I imagine there are people cycling in and out, so I want to clarify here that this is not intended to be
Is this a sound effect? Why is it playing? Why is it playing? I turned all of these off.
Congratulations, Shahrukh. We have to extend the stream by 20 additional hours.
No, but why is the sound playing?
We don't hear
What
it.
sound?
You don't hear a sound?
No.
It's playing on the stream, I think.
What is the sound?
I don't have the stream audio, obviously, otherwise it would.
Yes. It's like, I'm looking at my alert box. No, I turned all of the subs, everything off. And Sin did it with his 50-cent subs. Also, as most people don't know, depending on where you live, subs cost different prices. And in some countries, they cost $8. Some countries, they cost 50 cents. So depending on where you live, they can be very cheap. I'm not diminishing anything. I'm just saying I don't realize why it's still playing because I turned all of this off.
The gift that Leo has so graciously handed over to you, and you're like, oh, this gift is not valuable because he only spent 50 cents on it. He should gift me 200 more subs.
Well, no, because right now on the stream, it is repeating the same sound effect.
Oh.
And
okay, so then that is just...
Yes.
I mean, we can just wait it out.
One sec. This is the same thing I told you earlier, right? It didn't say the settings. I fixed it. And now I've turned it all off again manually.
Okay, while you're doing that,
do you have
It should be it should be good now. I don't hear it again. It's good now.
Okay,
It's
I was
not.
gonna say, can you give Derek an actual real question to answer while you're figuring this out?
Okay, no.
Did we go through
figured
all
that
the
out.
Google
Sorry.
Forms questions already?
Okay, Derek, did you have a question you want to pick up, or did you want to send? Did you want me to send you one?
It's devolved into nonsense at this point. I don't have any questions.
Okay, awesome. So we'll go near the bottom.
Yeah, we'll have to get some from there.
Yeah. So Derek, I'll give you 2 questions, and then I think that's where we'll kind of call it here. Now, what decision do you make to prevent players from optimizing the fun out of the game? This is a little bit of a deeper question there.
I mean, the short answer is we don't, because players will do that regardless, right? But in terms of the overall game design, is it's just the RNG nature of the game, right? We add more content, we add more stuff, so that the optimization becomes more difficult to achieve. That's pretty much it.
Okay, fair enough. And then followed up with this, Derek. Have you ever left an imbalanced item / mechanic untouched to shake up the meta? How do you decide when it would be worth the risk? I know we hinted like at a few of these like topics here and there, like when you decide to step in and make a change. But just for this question,
so
what do you think?
Different games require different handling. In this game, again, because of the roguelike nature of the game and the fact that we embrace the RNG and try to make things not forcible and stuff.
Someone just highlighted Beast of Burden. I remember that was
Basically,
left in for a bit.
it's okay as long as it's not becoming the dominant thing in the meta, and we let people have their fun.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Also, on top of that, I hope a lot of people enjoyed the new Karnak skin. Which is released around with Karnak. It's one of our first skins that actually has movement, and we would love to add, some movement to we love the new Karnak skin. Well, okay, I'm glad you love it, right? I think a skin like that you could potentially, linking back to something we discussed earlier, I feel like a skin like that, Karnak skin that has animation, because from a studio side, what a lot of people don't understand is like it adds a lot of expense to even do a small thing like that. I think we could do that for some other skins, but maybe sell them for money directly. Obviously, I'm not the one that makes those calls, but I think that's like one of those skins. Like the Karnak skin is one of those that I would be willing to pay real money for, as opposed to like other skins. Just because to me it looks great.
Origin of the jiggle physics conversation that happened.
Okay, Adam, you're not supposed to say that part out loud. That's one of the parts you don't say out loud.
Okay, let me say it again. Just in case you didn't hear me the first
never
time.
discuss this.
Okay, now it makes sense because there's precedent for it. Because there now is a skin with... Okay, I did not realize that was an actual thing. I thought you were just spewing random words. This now makes sense. You heard it here first. Shahrukh is personally implementing jiggle physics into the bazaar.
Don't throw this on me.
Shahrukh is personally implementing jiggle physics on the bazaar. In the bazaar.
Okay, if I had to pick one person to have jiggle physics, I would have picked Pig. See, look at the comments. Jiggle physics, Pig, right away. That's what everyone said. That's where I would.
So much sense now.
True and normal. No, I have never like pushed for any of that, dude. None of our game is meant to be like sexualized or anything.
Why would it be sexualized?
Oh my god, I just got a message from our director of technical art that implements all this stuff. I look forward to you implementing jiggle physics for our skin. Let me know when the PR is up. That means like when it's ready to come in. We're not trying to sexualize anything. That has never been the goal.
Why are you saying sexualize? Shahrukh, jiggly fat and jiggly skin is just a natural part of life. It's just humans are just jiggly sometimes. I mean, I guess I myself am a bad example of this, but it's now. Why are you are the one sexualizing?
I mean, I'm not the one that makes any calls on this. Ask Derek if anything. He has much more authority on these things than I do.
In the pipeline,
I've got that Adam likes trolling heavily. Yes, he does.
You heard it here first. Are everyone ready to clip this? Shahrukh is currently working on implementing jiggle physics into the bazaar.
And I can use it on the new item, Laurel's bouncy ball.
Don't add that to the clip. Wait, Laurel's bouncy ball. Is she on the ball? Please tell me she's not on the ball.
It's just a toy.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yes.
Okay, don't include that part. Don't include that part.
No, include that part. It's just a bouncy ball. Nothing wrong. If I want a skin, I have all skins. How does that work? Literally, there's lots of skins that are unreleased that are only for staff only. You might have encountered them through your sessions of PvP. You may be able to choose one of those and we may give it to you, but you just send me a message, like I said, on a whisper on Twitch or a message on Discord where I can verify it to you, and I'll show you some of the skins that are available that are in the game but not fully available. There's some that are
a new bank that I'm aware of. Someone mentioned something about the Jigo on an upcoming bank. There is a bank that has like jiggly eyeballs. So.
Okay, there's actually something that I'm curious about that miraculously is related to the bazaar. Do all former staff members get lifetime unlocked accounts?
It depends on.
Right?
I can answer that. No. So yeah, generally what I do is we do like passes here and there. So because every season we add new content and stuff like that. So I think the last one we did was about 3 months ago. We unlocked everything that was available in the game that's already implemented, even if it's not out in the game. So a lot of players could go up against like a character, or sorry, a hero skin that's not in the game for anyone else, but it's available for staff only. It's just because we haven't put it in the store or in the test yet. That it just means it's ready to go, right? So staff has that. We did like 2-3 months ago, and then we'll probably do another pass in a week or two. And then yeah, so essentially all the skins, we have lots of skins that are ready to go that just aren't available for the public to get.
Okay, so staff do get unlocked account, like fully unlocked accounts with everything in them.
Not all the time. I mean, like it depends on when we do the pass. So we have from 3 months ago when we last did the script. So from
What is
3
a
months.
pass?
No, I meant like from 3 months ago to now. Any of the ones that was in that time aren't unlocked right now.
There is no single flag that does it, essentially. So
Yeah, there's not like one
if
thing
you
like
want the
staff
hero,
account.
we have to give
Yeah.
you the Steam key.
Oh,
If you
okay.
want a
I guess
particular
that-
skin, it has to be
okay.
assigned to
Yeah.
your account.
It's like a quick script. It takes like 10 seconds to run, so I could give all the new ones to staff as well. But it's just a matter of when we run it.
Okay, that would have been a better way for me to word the questions. Is there fully unlocked flag? And the answer would be no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a game I work on previously where there was a button in the admin that says, give me 2 copies of everything. And it's literally everything. So over time, I have tens of thousands of the very early stuff because every time you hit that button, it gives you 2 copies of everything. And so if I need 2 copies of the newest thing, I get 2 copies of everything because that's what the button does. And yeah, so it's kind of funny. And players will regularly still message me on that game asking if I have certain cards to trade them. And I'm like, no, I didn't earn these things. I'm not trading you any of this. Yes, I have many of those. This limited edition thing, I have 500 copies of it. No, you're not getting it.
Yeah. Someone said I can hear some Slack notifications going off, and I thought it was mine. That was mine. I'm sorry. That was my Slack going off. That was me telling someone I'm getting gaslit so hard, and they messaged me back. I agree.
Who are you telling this to?
I didn't message anyone. They messaged me first, and I can't
Wh-
disclose who they were.
What do you mean gaslit? I have never gaslit a single person in my entire life, not even once.
Okay.
Also, Shahrukh, I just want to let you know that I've been accruing poops in your Twitch chat, your
You have nothing
your
to do
channel
with them.
currency this entire time. I'm up to 790 poops now.
Okay.
Is that the stuff in booster stuff?
Okay, I would say this, what booster stuff actually stands for, okay? No, I'll give you the actual TLDR of it. So the reason it's
Okay.
called booster stuff is because originally, when I started streaming, before I started streaming, I was playing games and I was, just to like bullshit a lot and talk with friends and just say random stuff for fun, right? And I was younger at that time, right? And I was like, okay, I bullshit a lot. So I was like, okay. I went on Twitch, tried to make my account called bullshit. It said not allowed. And I was like, okay, B and S. What can I fill in with those words? So I put booster and stuff. So essentially, the word does come from bullshit, but that wasn't allowed on Twitch. So it came booster stuff. That's the origin of booster stuff. It means bullshit. BS.
I thought that your story was going to be, I wanted my username to be bullshit stuff, but it wouldn't accept bullshit, so I had to write booster. And I was gonna say that still doesn't answer this stuff.
Oh no, it was just
Okay,
bullshit. That was the whole thing. BS was just bullshit.
That definitely makes more sense. Okay.
What's the origin of boomer stuff? The origin of boomer stuff is the first week of when I started streaming, and people started calling me boomer stuff. Because everyone kept saying like these terms that I didn't know, and at that time it was like 25, 26, so I should have known them, I guess. But maybe my audience was younger in the original phase. Whole hog pygmalion, biker pygmalion, listed on the wiki. Where does that come from?
Yeah, as far as I
What
know,
is
that
that
one's
from?
unreleased. My document says it's unreleased.
Oh, okay. and he is just so. I am not that old. Okay, let us. Adam is not gaslighter. He is gas itself. I would agree with that. Yes.
That's not true. Are there any Google Forms questions that are left?
I think there are quite
Did
a
you-
few, but
There's quite a few.
a lot of them are just similar. When I read them, half of them was like some variant of another question. So I think we've covered mostly everything at this point.
Yeah.
Someone's asking about briefcase. I can answer that real quick.
Yeah.
So one of the things about the bazaar is that the items have an identity, right? And what the item does is mechanically tends to be derived from what the item is and what it does, like what it would do in the real world, if the item actually exists. Obviously, some of the items are very esoteric, some of them are very mundane. So, it's artist interpretation. In regards to briefcase, and a lot of older items, one of our goals is that players shouldn't be confused about what an item is just because it's been modified or changed. And when we reviewed the briefcase, we decided that it was too much of a departure of what the items previously was, and add a lot of complexity to a simple item that could be playable without those complications. That said, the way that the item worked in the rework version is still what was still good. We still recognize that some players really like that design, and the plan is to make that a new item instead, which has a similar structure.
Okay, awesome. Now, there, right before you called off, is there any small teaser you can share? I know we discussed about mobile a bit
Besides
earlier.
Laurel's bouncy ball?
Laurel's bouncy ball. I don't know. What's something, or you don't have to, I mean, obviously, you can't share your screen here.
Yeah, let me take a look here. Let's see. What do I have?
It's up to you. Something you want to share as a teaser
actually,
that only
this is
people that are here
interesting,
know.
and players can look forward to this. So we are doing a pretty big overhaul of some of the wording in the game. So to reduce the amount of text, partly to support mobile, right? The more text is on items, the more difficult it is to read, the smaller the font will be, etc. So we're trying to reduce the amount of text that's on items and streamline the way that items are described. And so, for example, Ganjo, the previously mentioned Ganjo, has 3 sentences right now on it, right? That's going to be consolidated down to a single sentence only in the new version, so players can look forward to that.
Awesome.
It reads a lot better.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear because that's one of the main things people are always asking, right? How close are we to mobile? So now you get to hear a little bit more of like the changes that we have to make to get us ready for mobile. There's so much different considerations, but the good thing is, from when I've joined and the way I've talked to Reynad or Andre, has always been like the game's goal has always been make it to mobile, right? It's just a lot of work, and just remember, guys, for any of you guys that weren't here earlier when I said this, there's a lot of work that goes into making a game on mobile, and the threshold for people's appetite on mobile is not as simple, right? So a lot of times if people download a game and they don't like it, they'll move on and never play it again, whereas on PC they will usually give it a second chance if they see it pop up in like a new update or anything like that. So we're trying to make sure that we nail mobile and make it as as good of as an experience as that you get when you're playing on Steam on mobile, right? It's a lot of work, and as we mentioned earlier, the game does run on mobile, right? So yeah, we have it running, but we gotta make sure we bun down and notch it up and make sure everything works properly, and it's a great experience from the moment you open the game. Try the early ghost if you haven't linked your account already, and then yeah, just have a good experience. That's the main thing we're looking for. Like from the beginning to end of your experience of playing on mobile, it should be a smooth and great experience, and that's our goal. So yeah, that's why it's taking a little bit longer. Just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, I guess. I look forward to it on mobile. I think it'll be a majority of how play with the Bazaar once it's available. Yes, no, I'm sure. Like obviously, it's like it'll be a great game to play. When you're outside on the streets, or instead of being on your computer, sit on your couch. Right? What I normally do is like when I play mobile games, I play something on TV, and then I'm playing a mobile game. I have only one that I play, to be fair. But like I'll put something in the background and I'll play my mobile game. right? So it's like it'll be pretty fun. For the duos idea, if it ever comes to fruition, heard it was promising last Q&A. I think we mentioned duos could be a cool idea. The one I think we did talk about more so was bringing a tournament mode to fruition. I think that's a mode we talked about more.
Yeah, tournament is closer to being done, just because duels implies a lot of additional stuff that we'd want to do to make that actually work properly. But that's also been play tested and been quite fun. It dramatically changes the balance of the game, and you're playing it in a completely different way. Because now you're specifically looking for like broken combos for your partner, which is very different.
Yeah, but then you also have to be careful, right? Like, what if I'm playing on 2 phones? Right, or like my desktop on my phone, different accounts, and I'm just, farming. So I mean, it gets. I don't know how to combat that, right? But I don't know if you can combat that.
Combat it. Like it's just a different queue, and if you want to play it, like the idea of duo is that you're supposed to communicate with your partner anyway. So if it's just yourself, that's, you're playing on a different account.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Also, anyways, lads, thank you so much for joining. It has been a fantastic stream. I will give you all to say a moment about, your experience here or how you enjoyed it, Derek. Do you have a great time or fun time talking to people?
Yeah, it was fun. Always enjoy interacting with Adam in particular as well.
Okay, only Adam. I was here too, by the way, just letting you know.
This time I actually didn't understand the question.
Like it's just, the guests.
Oh, okay. So I don't count. Only Adam counts. Okay, I got that. Got it.
This time I actually didn't catch the question. What the question was?
No, I was saying any ending remarks. I hope you enjoyed the Q&A. Anything else you want to say before we hop off?
I don't know. I mean, is that it? Shahrukh,
love when Booster gets excluded. Yes, it seems to be recurring on Q&As because I very rarely talk much. I host it, but I don't really answer many questions.
When is the next event going to be?
Event in terms of what?
Anything, I guess. I mean, obviously the one that I'm interested in is in person, but I don't know, like next interesting thing to happen that people can look forward to join in again for next time.
Oh, 100%.
Also, is that camera shaky?
No,
I guess
it's
I
not.
can prop this up a little bit to make it stop
Your
vibrating.
camera isn't moving right now for me. I would say, give me the money, and I will set up an in-person event.
I don't know what that means, but...
how do you want me to handle an in-person event? I don't think it would cost more. I don't think... You said you were...
Sure. Adam is queuing you up to hype up whatever next thing is coming.
No, don't tell him that. I want to see where Shahrukh
because there is no next big thing coming.
Well, is there another Q&A? Whatever. Like,
well, no, I know that's what you're trying to hype up, but no, there's no other Q&A lined up. There's no other event. Okay. You know what? This is my last one. Not doing this again. I resign. Okay, I quit.
What did you do?
No, I'm kidding.
I think your microphone hard corrects your voice when you're yelling, so you were really quiet again. Wait,
wait 1 sec. Let me hear my own voice.
If you
my audio seems to pick up okay.
What resources do you need to do a next in-person event then?
I would probably say one, I would find a location where it would be more feasible or most feasible.
Okay.
So that resources. Either I would want you to fly down or I fly down. I don't think both of us are needed, but one would be preferred.
I mean, I can go as a tourist.
Yeah, so can I. So
that's
I'll go inside.
No, if you are set. Okay. The question, in case you missed it, the question is, what resources or what things do you need to set something? Because you seem to really like engaging with the community and you like doing these things. You're the one. This is not even an official company thing. You're running this on your personal Twitch channel.
Give me like 15K. I'll run a sick event.
So you just need extra money.
Yes.
What
I
has
don't think I
stopped
would
you
need
from-
15k actually. I think it'd be more like 10k.
What
Some
is
for
stopping
prizes,
you from-
something cool.
already putting up a proposal like that? So this is Shahrukh loves to do things that are
Okay,
not.
there's
recruiting-
many things that do limit me from doing this right now. I can't say them on stream, so you're putting
Oh.
me in a corner where I can't answer some of these questions properly.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. Shahrukh is.
Okay.
What can we jump? What's a conclusion we can jump to with this? Shahrukh hates the bazaar.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And
Okay.
Adam is a horrible boss.
Okay, unbelievable.
Yes.
You have been literally wanting to. I'm tilted at the fact that you've been trying to end for like an hour and a half straight. So I will
Oh
finally.
no, it
grant
wasn't
you
that
the-
long. No, I'll end. Okay. Fuck you. I will end. Sorry. Excuse the French.
Okay. The
Excuse
event
the
is
French. I
dead.
just
We're
said that
doing
to my
French
boss.
again?
Wooster can do anything for 15k. Noted. No, that's not what that means. No. Don't take it the other way. I knew obviously. How is it someone from our staff that takes anything I say the worst way? Like the most inappropriate way. Also,
Shahrukh
Adam,
bribed
me and you will have a no, Adam.
$50,000.
I would like to have a chat with you about one of our employees right after. Inappropriate conduct at work. Okay, technically they're still on the clock. Just letting you know.
$15,000 and you can buy Shahrukh's loyalty to delete the bazaar.
That's not even loyalty. Also, I don't even have access to the bazaar. I have nothing to do with the code base. I have no access to it. I mean, technically I do, actually. I have all the passwords, so I could get in. But I would not. It could be anyone.
Now that I think about it, you actually don't. Because after we did an engineering staffing change, this is more of like a business, the way to run business kind of thing. It is, especially in today's like tech-centric world, giving people the resources they need to spill water all over themselves, in addition to giving people access to only things that they really need for their job, is relatively important. If one person gets hacked, so for example, if Shahrukh actually had all of this permission to access whatever and anything he wanted, it's less of a concern of Shahrukh getting bought out for $15,000 and more of Shahrukh getting hacked. Somebody going in and compromising the game and deleting the code through there. So now that I think about it, Shahrukh, you actually don't have global administrator access. Now that I think about it, so unfortunately, for the
I have
people,
what I need.
So unfortunately, for the people who are trying to buy out Shahrukh, you unfortunately cannot delete the bazaar.
Yes. Also, does anyone want to talk about how the ending of my pay was updated by someone who claims this was completely done by conversion rates from USD to CAD? My pay ends in $420.69. That is the ending of my official pay. And I was
This is a
told
coincidence.
that's the official conversion rate.
You know, sometimes when you we operate in USD, but Shahrukh gets paid in Canadian dollars. Some people want to get paid as USD, so USD hits their bank account because United States dollar is sometimes more desirable than local currency. But for Shahrukh, because he is a full-time employee from Canada, we have to pay him in Canadian dollars. It's just like a labor law related thing. So I have to convert the USD amount, which we transact or we denominate in USD, and I have to translate that into Canadian dollars. So when I did that, it just happened to be that Shahrukh's compensation was some amount of thousands of dollars and $420.69.
Yeah, I love how Derek's face is just like, he's like, I know what happened here. By the way, I converted what it was supposed to be. It was not that amount. I didn't fight it.
Oh, that's probably because you converted a little bit later. You know, like exchange rates like update really
yeah, it
rapidly,
fluctuates a
so that's
lot, right?
probably why.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but at the exact time you converted my pay, it was $420.69 at the ending of my pay. That's what you
Hey,
converted.
what can I say? Life just happens.
I should have a 6-7 in there. I mean, to be for Adam, you could add a 6-7 near the beginning.
That is okay. Stream is
Zach?
over.
If you really want to go all the way. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for the Q&A. Hope you guys had fun. This was one of the first ones we did. Also, the longest one that we've ever done. Like I said, this was a little bit more unorthodox compared to the ones we've done
This one
before.
doesn't count as a Q&A. This is literally just me talking.
Yeah.
This is just a podcast at
Yeah.
this point.
I hope you guys enjoyed it regardless. I have a list of everyone that said some questions that were interesting. Some of you guys already messaged me on Discord, and I wrote all of the names down on my own Slack. So if you didn't message me on Discord, I'll find a way to reach out to you if you didn't do it on Twitch either. But yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure. Adam, thank you for joining. I know you normally don't like to join these Q&As, but thank you for joining for this one.
I mean, I guess I'll join another one next year.
Sure. Derek, thank you for joining as well, man. I know you're very active on Discord all the time. I think it's great for people to actually get to see you and, you know, have a quick back and forth. I mean, they have quick back and forth with you in Discord too. I've seen your messages. You're very quick to answer. But yeah, I think it's great for people to actually see your face and, you know, be able to ask or speak to you directly. Yeah. Awesome. Yep. And, you know, Shahrukh, it was great for people to get to meet you. You know, I think a lot of people out of this entire Q&A were looking forward to speak to you.
So long.
I'm joking. I was trying to, like, monologue myself. But then, you know what? You ruined it. I had a great monologue. I had actually almost, like, 2 paragraphs ready. And you just ruined it. I hope you know.
Yeah, this stream's been going on for such a long time. This Shahrukh guy is just like dragging
Thank you, Shahrukh. You know what, Mouthbone? I hope you appreciate the fact that I'm the only one that puts these together, okay? These guys just come in here to hate. Not Derek, just Adam. They come in here to hate and gaslight, and I'm the only one that puts these together because I think they're enjoyable. You know, it's design, like the 3D art team, everything that we do. I do it for fun because I think people would enjoy talking to the team. And all I get
I don't even know what the word hate means. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. You don't know what that means. Anyways, lads, we're calling it there. But no, Adam, as much as I hate you, thank you for joining. I'm joking. I say I hate Adam all the time as a joke. No, Adam has actually helped increase or helped me be a better person in terms of work. Not as a person personally, but more so on the work side. He has great advice, to be fair. Like, he will tell you what's right, what's wrong very quickly. And also, Derek is amazing to talk to all the time. One of my favorite people. And yeah, I would put myself as like #1 of my favorite people list. You know, not being biased, right, Derek? We can't have any bias in this list.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you're not your #1 fan, then something is wrong.
Well, you see, Derek gets it. But anyways, cheers, guys.
No one else is going to be that for you.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thank you so much. And yes, look forward to the next Q&A. We don't currently have a date of when we'll be doing it or when. But hopefully it will be sometime maybe in May or maybe in the month after. But yes, we'll try to do one again. That's fun for everyone to attend. But yes, thank you guys and have a great rest of your night. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.